Welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is currently August 31st, 2023. That month is gone. We're never getting it back. I'm not alone though. I'm joined by somebody just one ambitious swim away. It's Izzy. How's it going, Izzy?
Oh, it's going good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We have a deck list with like, a bit of a backstory, a bit of history. Do you want to introduce yourself really quick? Firstly, as a Netrunner player, about your history, how long you've been playing, what you think of the game, and then we'll branch out from there.
Yeah, totally. I've been playing seriously about a year and a half now. I'd had an original core set way back in the day, played that a little bit with friends, but didn't get super into it, didn't have a great meta right where I was, so I dropped it for a while. Had a thing where I got back into Magic for a little while, realized Magic's real expensive, and thought to myself, hey, is Netrunner still a thing? Turns out it is, and wow, I'm glad that I did that.
What was the first thing you
Yeah,
did to get back into the game? Like you just Google Netrunner and see what's happening, or?
yeah, pretty much. And then I found out I was in Austin at the time and there was a local meetup. So I just was like, what do I need to do to show up? And I did. And it was fun. So I kept doing it.
Hey, well done. Real quick, just want to say hi to some folks as they come in. Sweet, how's it going? Good to be here for stream launch for once because my Final Fantasy 14 raid group finished early today. That probably means you did really well or really poorly. I don't actually know how rating works. Welcome. Trillian, how's it going? Brennan, that music's wild. Lucia, looks like Izzy's webcam is desynced. Is it too slow? Not slow enough? Izzy, could you give like just a couple nice solid claps in front of your face for syncs? Wait, you got to be able to see the claps. You got to do like kind of to your side.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's hard with the micro. They're not coming through the audio, so at least we know what the clapping looks like. Thank you.
Okay.
If it's a bit desynced,
Like,
we can sort it out. I don't think your microphone picks that up. I think it knows better.
I don't know. Okay.
We'll
Makes
sort
it
it
much
out.
harder. Some audio processing is happening, which is good
This
because
is
we don't
good.
want loud snaps coming through on stream, but does make this mildly more difficult.
I think I had some issues on my side with the processing, so like it might be my side. If anything, it's a slight delay. We'll be able to fix it. Audio slightly ahead of the video. Okay, hold on. That makes sense. I'm gonna delay your audio by a bit. Give me 1 second. Brian, how's it going? Music can be feeling spooky season. There is a bit of spooky to that song. That song gets to a part that I don't exactly like. Jai, also, how's it going? Kat, how you doing as well? Okay. Let me see. Excuse me. Do you want to continue on the story about I think the
Yeah.
next big part is maybe if you want to talk about QTM a bit.
Yeah, so I'd been playing on my own for a while, and over time I kept talking to different people about testing groups and like how like teams for Netrunner made sense, and like
Yeah.
eventually got to a point where in the GLC marginalized identities channel, a few of us had been talking about like there's not really a queer centric testing group. So really, Aaron and I, Pailu, ended up just starting about 6 months ago, querying the message. And it grew pretty quickly to where it is now. We're about 35 people, all across the world, all queer, trying to get better at Netrunner. So we've been doing that really, I think, just about 6 months now. My sense of time is awful, but it can't have
Yeah.
been much longer than that. And since then, we got 4 people into the cut, 3 people into the cut at APAC, and then we got another person into the cut, 2 people into the cut. I should know
QTM's
this
been
offhand, but I don't
kicking
at APAC.
ass. Like very,
Um,
very easily QTM's been kicking ass. Where for a lot of folks, it was like a testing group that, it's relatively new. There's a lot of new testing groups, that's for sure. I think Netrunner is having a bit of a renaissance, but like QTM very consistently, you'll seeing not only so much love in the chat, but like a lot of folks playing at top tables, which is like really sick, like really impressively done.
yeah, it's been really wild watching everyone like buckle down to do it, and like especially the lead up to APAC and all of the practice and testing that went into that was absolutely just wonderful to see. And it's like one of the things that like makes the hugest difference, at least for my own Netrunner play, is practicing with people who can give good feedback on your play. And
Yeah.
like being able to have a community space where there's like that going on all the time has really elevated the play of everyone involved a tremendous amount.
So there's a podcast. QTM podcast is probably how a lot of folks might have discovered QTM or heard of QTM for the first time. And like this podcast, you're only 3 episodes in. I think there's a 4th episode coming out soon,
Yep,
maybe.
next
Okay,
week.
next week. Awesome. I'm a big fan of the podcast, and like at least the last I think couple episodes of the podcast have been really showing about like the internals of a testing group. As a Netrunner player, I've never really been part of a testing group, and understanding like I've talked to a lot of folks who are in some of the most competitive testing groups to understand how they organize, what's the point of it, what they do, how do they make the most out of it, and like the amount of effort that's very clear. There's a lot of like very good. I think the word pragmatic comes up a lot in discussions of like
Hmm.
finding out what is the best thing to play, figuring out why it works, figuring out, and specifically like the Girlfriend Tribal episode talks about the like the 3 hour meta, or sorry, the 3 day meta, to be like, hey,
Yeah.
Apex coming up, we have like 5 days to figure out what's like worth pursuing. It's really cool, and I think it shows a lot of people very clearly like what kind of testing goes behind closed doors, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's been really interesting, like some of our members had been in other testing groups before, and like we've adapted some like things that have been done in other testing groups, but Netrunner is a fairly small, fairly niche game, and there is not like a lot of established theory on how to improve at Netrunner, how to understand what is good Netrunner play. And so a lot of it has just been trying things out and figuring out what works for ourselves. And it's like one of the things that I think scares a lot of people away from the testing group thing, especially of like starting their own with a group of people that they know, is this idea that there's some like established path that they need to follow to do it. And really, you just need to get a
No,
group of get people together to play games and talk about them, and in the way that feels like it is the most useful to you.
there's like a lot to be said about, it's one thing to do practice, and it's another thing to do focused practice. And
Absolutely.
as long as you can put out your goals and keep those in mind when you're practicing, you're like, I think one of the biggest tips, at least for me, if you're practicing, just explain out loud why you're doing what you're doing. That gets you, I think, 90% of the way there. But like, I think this is one really good thing about Netrunner, and I see it here with QTM as well. But like, if you talk to a lot of testing groups and ask them like, "What do you do?" they're very happy to explain to you how they get there. And it's meant to be more encouraging to like, "Hey, do you have 3, 4 friends, people you met on the internet? Like, put together your own group of people that it's just the support structure for structured testing, which is really really
Yeah,
cool."
absolutely. And like one of the things that we really want to do is to elevate the level of Netrunner across everyone. And like obviously we can bring everyone internally. We would grow indefinitely to a size that is unmanageable. But what we can do is, well, we're going to keep our deck lists and we're going to keep our new ideas secret until an event. Once that event's happened, like everything is fair game to share. We just
Yeah,
want to talk about what we've come up with and what we've figured out and share that with people.
yeah.
And similarly, like with the podcast and talking about how testing groups work, and like if starting a testing group is something you're interested in, like come talk to us. We can see if we can't help out.
Yeah, that's something to be said for I think most testing groups. Like you can wander into unbanned or snare bears and just ask like, hey, how do you set something up like this? What would you recommend? And people are so stoked. Like if you hear testing groups and you think of it as like some sort of clique where they want to keep you outside, like that's not the case. They want to support you to build your own thing in a lot of ways. Just as a call to action for those who are interested in QTM and want to get involved in that community, what can you say?
Yeah, well, we're currently closed to new members.
Okay.
But if you do want to reach out and get in touch, we would love to hear from you. We would love to try to get you in touch with other people who are interested in the testing group thing, if that's something that you're interested in doing. We do have a wait list for new members,
Oh,
but
cool.
I wouldn't count on that. But it is a thing if you're interested. Get in touch. I can't promise anything, but we would love to adopt all of the queers out there playing Netrunner. Unfortunately, we can't, but do get in touch
Yeah.
and do listen to the podcast.
Awesome. Do you know how to get in touch with like just on Discord or?
Yeah, just find me on Discord. There's a contact link on the
Okay.
podcast page that comes to us.
Yeah, real quick. So I'm on the podcast page right now. Logo is behind my head. It's a great logo. With this website will be linked in the description. I think it's just queryingthemessage.net gets you here. That's correct.
That's it.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, this has been, we're only 3 episodes in. I've been a big fan of the podcast, and the testing group's absolutely kicking ass. Real quick, just in the comments, Diogen, on the day of the event, I was torn between being scared of facing AgInfusion and playing with the wonderful players bringing those AgInfusion decks. So Izzy, you came to KenNat, so it was just last weekend. You were one of the two AgInfusion players. We had
Yep.
almost 100% AgInfusion conversion to cut. You were like the closest you could be to making the cut without making the cut, unfortunately. It was
I
like
got
point
9.
zero 0.03.
I was off by 0.03 strength of schedule.
Yeah, bummer to hear that. Can you talk about your experience in KenNats? You've been to Montreal before, at
Yeah, this
events.
is my second time being in Montreal. CanNats was wonderful. The venue was super pleasant.
Oh, it's nice.
Um, and like single-sided Swiss, I thought worked really well for the event. It ran super smoothly. Yeah, I came up with Sophie and Dan, two other American players. We had an Airbnb right in the Chinatown, about a 10-minute walk from the venue, which was really pleasant. And yeah, so what else to say about the event? It was great. Like that was um, such a like. I really appreciated splitting the Swiss rounds across 2 days. That was
I think we
way
had
better to play.
to. Playing to 11 didn't make any sense. Like that would have been a huge mistake. Like, oh man, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, I wonder what the optimal number of rounds is for a single-sided Swiss of an event that big. I think the OP guidelines might be a little bit high for 10 rounds for that. And
Yeah,
I'm not just saying that because if we called it at 8, I would have made the cut.
sure.
But
Yeah, I don't know. Multi-day Swiss is great. Yeah, how's it going, Jeff? I think multi-day Swiss was actually kind of an interesting thing for the narrative. Like to show up the next day, hopefully refreshed, and be like, I still have a chance to do something cool, get my top prize support, or like make the top cut. Oh, you reminded me really quick. I wanted to shut this out. Somebody left their playmat on the camera table. I think it might have either been Burden or Dan. But I have one of those like van playmats. You know the one I'm talking about?
yeah, the smart word distributor.
Yeah, I have one of those. So if we left it at CanNats, it's mine now. But tell me about it, and I'll probably try and get it back to you. How many people were at the tournament? We had just short of 40 players. We were 39 players. On day one, we had a couple folks drop into going to day two, which is kind of expected. But yeah, above 33. Yeah, it is Thomas's. That's what I thought so. Yeah, I have it. I'll get it to you sometime soon, I hope. It should have been 6 to 8 rounds for that many people. Yeah, maybe it was. 10 was perfect. Yeah, Kyle just got into the cut. Catch is saying we never had anyone ask for tips on how to run testing group. We would help though. I know I have asked, but I don't know if other folks have come in and asked. Speaking of CanNats, is this the deck you brought? Because this is the QTM deck. This is 21-3 at EMEA. This is AgInfusion. It's going to be a big part of the discussion today, at least the deck list of the week. I want to give huge shout outs before because there's a lot of really good AgInfusion content that's come out this week. So Jeff did a stream earlier this week talking about like the numbers, crunching through the numbers of some of the Continentals. And AgInfusion right now, according to the numbers, is the most winningest corp deck by a significant margin. By a really big margin. It's been a deck that's been like very powerful. A lot of people are afraid of it, are scared of playing into it because it can, you know, it makes you feel bad. Sometimes it does inherently make you feel bad. But it's very powerful. And it's like, we saw this at Worlds, it almost won Worlds, some like a bit more of combo decks that are doing that, but they can build some like ridiculous board states and things got really difficult. This deck went 21-3. That's across all the QTM players at EMEA. That's an absurd record.
Yeah, and one of those losses was a technical game loss due to some interaction between Spin Doctor shuffling before a bacterial fire that caused an unrecoverable board state that I don't entirely understand what happened. But
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Bacterial is my least favorite card in the deck.
Yeah, this card is like
and
really.
Jai, for the record, this is a pro ag stream.
We'll see. I think we're gonna, at least Izzy, that you're here, we can balance it out a bit better. But I'm not the biggest ag fan, but we'll see how this goes. I wanted to shout out, Jeff also did a huge stream yesterday where he was joined by Augustus, and they basically played a whole bunch of ag decks games row after row to be like, let's tackle this with this, to understand like from both sides of the table, what are your learnings, what you can do against it, how you can build the deck into it, what are the good lines. It's really, really good watching. And even in like the New England Discord, or I think the New Hampshire Discord specifically this morning, there's a lot of conversation about AgInfusion because people feel really strongly about it. Now you took this to CanNats. Now it wasn't exactly this list. I think you made some minor changes. I
changed one Sadaka to be one half run.
Cool. And can you tell us really quickly why Sadaka is in the deck? Like why did you change?
It trashes twinning.
Cool. Yeah, this is the one of the weird
That was why it was in there. It also trashes companions if like Anarch Econ is like really critical for keeping them locked out, but like really it's there to stop twinning from having value multi-access on centrals when you're trying to win with a Keeling in the remote.
Sadaka through the history of Netrunner has showed up in like some strange decks as one-ofs because it's just like, oh, you have to deal with Turning Wheel because you lose in your prison deck, which was like the old twinning, or like, oh, you have to deal with the Film Critic, which is the way to make Obokata Protocol not like hard to steal. So this card has showed up in a lot of things. It's a weird card to see. It's definitely powerful. But why did you bring this to CanNats? What is your thoughts about this deck? You also played this at EMEA and did well with this, right?
It is hard to go undefeated at a tournament, not see a hard counter for the deck come up, and decide I'm going to play something else at the next event I'm going to the next weekend.
Okay, yeah, no, that's that's so going into Canets, I was surprised to see AgInfusion. I was pretty sure you were going to be in AgInfusion. The other AgInfusion player we had at Canets who made the top 8 was Brandon, and Brandon was playing a 59 card like just hyper glacier deck, and a lot of defensive upgrades, no Keeling, and Keeling is the big thing about this deck itself. So I wasn't surprised to see it. I think I was surprised to see it locally, but when it showed up, you know, you heard the conversation around the room. A lot of people didn't want to play into this thing. Can you describe really quickly? So like, for those who are not familiar with this, maybe we have startup players or people who are newer to the game. We're just going to go over really quickly to talk about what this deck does. First, it's the ability. This ability has a lot of text on it. It also has 17 influence, which is like not, you know, that's wild. But in short, what this thing can do is once per turn, when the runner's running something, you can trash an unresed ice they're approaching, and then you can send them onto another server. And not only specifically send them into another server, whatever server that you send them onto, they are encountering the outermost ice. And that in some way is a good thing, in some ways it's a bad thing for the runners. Firstly, it means that the ice is unresed. That means you can't res it because you can only res ice on approach. But more importantly, what a lot of times the play pattern for this is the corporation will res one really big mean ice on the outermost of a server, say like an Anansi, a Vampire Nasa. I don't think a Teeny is in this list, but that sort of thing, right? Yeah. Something that's very expensive and the face check is pretty painful. And then anytime you make a run, if they think it's necessary, they'll just destroy an ice that they didn't have to res because they can't afford it or don't want to. And suddenly you're encountering that ice, that Anansi, and you can't jack out on encounter. You can only jack out on approach as long as you've already approached one ice per run. So it kind of like inflates the value. You can res one big ice and then get a lot of value because every run, at least once per turn, as long as you're destroying your own board state, you're funneling people into that nasty thing. The way that also this interacts with like run events cannot be understated. It's very hard to play run events into this deck inherently. The idea is that if you have something like a diversion of funds, a run that has to make a successful run on HQ to do something, suddenly they're running archives and like doesn't do anything when you're on archives. So there's a lot of power built into this, but a lot of the dance is going to be this sort of like chess because it's like one counter card that you have to really play around. We're going to talk about pinhole threading, but mainly, how often do you win, or did you win in in a continental and a nationals scoring out?
Of the QTM players who brought it, one person scored out in one game.
So out of 21
and I think they
games,
scored to 6 and 1 on time.
Out of 24 games, there's one game that was won on points because this is the academic in the room. This is Mansion Keeling. Do you want to tell me what Keeling does, Izzy?
Keeling makes the runner sad slowly.
Yeah.
Keeling gets a power counter when you res it, and at the start of your turn, and the runner's hand size is reduced by the number of power counters on Keeling, which after there are 6 counters on Keeling, and the runner does not trash it that turn, the runner loses the game.
Yeah, there's some like technical nuance around there. Firstly, the runner loses the game if they hit negative hand size, not when the turn starts, but at the end of that turn where they fail to discard down to -1 hand size. It's really weird, but that's, yeah, part of the rules. You can fail to go down to negative hand size, and that's when you get flatline. So you technically have a turn when this thing's on 6. The other really important thing with Keeling that makes her a bit more generous than you think she should be is that there's a window, a paid ability window on the runner's turn after they've discarded down, or sorry, after their last action before they've discarded down to their hand size. So if they have 5 cards in hand, you can say hold on. After they take their last action, you can res Keeling, and suddenly now they have a 4 hand size going into their first discard phase. So Keeling, it just starts the damage a bit sooner. So it on its own, you can always res this consistently enough to do 1 pseudo fake net damage, as much as that's not exactly the point of the game.
Mm-hmm. So, and in the end, the discard to hand size kill is very rare with Keeling. Much more common is for the Keeling to tax out the runner's resources until the point where they just have to make a bad run and they die to an Anansi or they die to a Fuji.
It's like, feels like some sort of weird science fiction parasite where it's like, things are going really bad, and then you start doing, you know, more dangerous and more dangerous stuff until you end up like running off a cliff at full speed. Like it's really frightening. Yeah. So this deck has 3 of them, and it's going to protect them really heavily. And if you cannot take this down, and mind you, 4 trash cost is like way higher on this card than you'd expect it to be. This thing will end the game sooner than later. I think it was heard yesterday on stream, Augustus was saying it's not very often that the first Keeling will flatline the runner. It'll be generally the second Keeling, because the first one they can maybe deal with, but it generally, you know, does a lot of financial damage. Do you agree with that? How does that line up in your experience?
I think it depends a lot on the matchup and the draw from the ag about when you actually push that Keeling. and what the runner gets. I think at EMEA, I was like 50-50 between whether it was the first or the second Keeling that would actually close out the game.
Whoa, okay. All right. Wow. First Keeling, 50% of the time gets you every time. That's wild.
I had a 5-turn game and a 7-turn game,
Yeah.
and
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say too, like we're gonna play the deck, and then you're gonna see this sort of like play patterns because a big part
my
of it.
longest
Sorry.
my longest game at EMEA was 13 turns.
What?
My longest game.
Canets was longer than that.
I don't know. I lost track of counting turns at
Okay.
Camnats.
Yeah. At least
It
on mine.
definitely was.
Yeah.
I had someone trash 2 Keelings against me, and that was going to go to time.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's not very long. So if people think AgInfusion is also like a grind of a deck, and like we saw back in Worlds last year, there was the sort of Loki Ag decks that took like, I don't know, 15 turns to set up, and then they started generating lock. This doesn't necessarily play that way. Like this can actually be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and you can play a 59 card version by adding one
Yeah.
agenda and 9 other cards that I will leave as an exercise to the listener. But that version is better but slower, and I wasn't going to try 59 in an in-person event.
I think the Hyper Glacier we saw from Brandon on Canats was 59, but again, it wasn't a Keeling deck. It was doing something else. But yeah, you can play like 8 3-pointers, which is like a ridiculous density. It's really good. It is inconsistent though, and it is a very slow deck, so you have to worry about like single-sided Swiss time for sure. Okay, so narrative of the deck. I just want to go over some quick card decisions. Firstly, this is, I think, the coolest card in the whole deck. This is a QTM inclusion. This started showing up. I think Bran, going into the last couple of weeks, I know on stream I've been saying Bran is just a monstrous card because almost no Breaker Suite deals with this relatively well. It's a very hard ice to deal with. Even once you get your turbine up, like this thing is relatively annoying for what it costs. And the coolest thing about this card, while it's only 2 influence, is this subroutine. You may install a piece of ice from HQ or archives directly inward from this ice, ignoring all costs. It's just really good in AgInfusion because that means you can get an ice that you used, you threw away, you tossed away to the AgInfusion ability, and you just get another AgInfusion ability. It is just very good. It is a subroutine that you have to click through in some board states, even if you're letting the end the runs fire. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it made people very sad when they saw that and they read the math and were like 8 credits to break.
It's bad. It's like,
Cleaver.
I don't know what you do. You gauss through it on the turn you install it sometimes. I think getting through this for 3 net damage with this is one of your better targets, I guess, for if you're playing Banhar. Otherwise, like you have to botulus this and hope. The deck, mind you, this version is not running Mavirus, so while you will see purges, like the sort of purge out fermenter stuff, like if you get a Mavirus on this, or sorry, a botulus on this, like maybe that's your best way through it. But this thing is difficult. There's like no Breaker Suite. Like Slap Bandle doesn't deal with it too well. It's hard to deal with this quickly. 6 strength is high.
Yeah.
Augustus, how's it going? It's great to see you on stream yesterday. No one can convince me beyond 59, but I may be well wrong for that. Yeah, your opinions about how you play AgInfusion with your AgInfusion lists, like I very much respect the differences. I'm not, just so this is obvious for those watching, I'm not somebody who has great experience with AgInfusion. So we're going to figure this out together.
And a particular interaction with Bran too is with the cold site server, because cold site server costs them clicks. And so once you do that, you can no longer click all the way through Bran. Yeah. And once you let one of those Bran subfires, that install is a boop. And so as soon as you've clicked cold site server once, you cannot click through Bran because you'll just get booped off and be out of clicks to run back.
Yeah. So the cold site servers are interesting. I don't think I've never seen the cold site server version in person. I've seen the Managarm versions a bit more, which is like a very similar card, as much as it doesn't require. It's something that the runner, they have other ways to deal with it, but interestingly also with Managarm, if they want to click through parts of the Managarm, they can't click through the Bran. So you have that like double HP tax, which is very interesting. Cold Side Server, mind you, is a card that like has seen almost no play. It's meant to be a mirror morph support card because it has that extra free click on it. How would you defend this against the Managarm enjoyers?
I think, so the defensive upgrade suite in the Ag is pretty hotly debated. I think this has the advantage that the runner has to pay the cost up front. And so as soon as they've done that, your boop is now multiplied by the cost of the cold site server. And so you get that. And so you can really create situations with cold site server that are a real hard lock on the Keeling remote where they just cannot get in, where they just do not have the clicks and the credits to get in at all. Whereas Managarm, they can always pay the 5 credits to get through it. However, there's also like, Managarm is significantly cheaper to have up and going. It doesn't require the ongoing clicks to keep pushing it forward. It's like I don't think one is clearly better than the other. I think they do similar but slightly different things. I think there's also a version that we brought to EMEA that also made the cut that was on Managarm Formicary
Right.
instead of some of the brands, which was also very good using divert power, which is also Keeling fast advance.
I always forget the Keeling fast advance strategy. Yeah, divert power lets you de-res your own stuff, so you can just be like de-res res because she gains a counter whenever you res her, so you can speed it up a bit. Oh, that's wild. The other card I brought up here on screen, because I thought you would naturally talk about it, is obviously Anoetic Void. And the whole idea with Anoetic Void Managarm, that's sort of like classic defensive upgrade nonsense. It's really hard to deal with once that's up, because you force them to play for the Managarm and then you Anoetic Void out. So I think that's like the nuclear option. That's kind of like the lock. At some point, if they have Anoetic and Managarm, like you have to win off centrals. You cannot run the remote server, I don't think, unless obviously Pinhole comes in. But then you don't pinhole the defensive upgrades. You pinhole the Keeling.
It's I actually don't have that much to say about Anoetic because it's just good. It just does exactly what you want it to do.
It's good.
It's expensive.
Yo, CTZ, how's it going? Shout out to Izzy, super duper cool. Light the Fire is a card that comes up. More people are talking about this card. So the big thing is like there's a bunch of events or runs, specifically run cards that allow you to deal with AgInfusion to some extent. So to run through the gamut, we can start with Light the Fire. This sees almost no play right now competitively. The big thing about Light the Fire is that it's really hard to use because, of course, with AgInfusion, they can redirect you to archives. So it's the sort of card that you have to get on the table and then force them to use their ability, and then you can Light the Fire the remote server. It doesn't get around Cold Sight, but it does get around what's it called? Managarm Anoetic, and it does allow you trash everything for free, which is nice. That's a lot of money. This card is probably better into the HB matchups, but like, how stressed are you playing an AgInfusion into this? Like, I feel like it just now you
not.
Yeah, you start having to like it's a game of
core
chicken.
damage. Even if they take the Keeling down, no, my next Keeling's more powerful. Like
yeah, that too. Core damage. Yeah, not great.
They can do that if they can bait a boop out and then light the fire. They can take down the first Keeling. They still have to break a Bran probably.
Yep.
It's still a click to install and then a click to use it. And then another click to have challenge it to get the boop out first.
It's still really difficult.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
And then if you pre-install it, like now I know to play around it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like baiting them out so that they use their ability and then you can come back, like that's kind of the beauty of it. But like, yeah, it's still very, very hard. I don't think it's as silver of a bullet as people want it to be. It's worth noting Direct Access is a card that has some legs into AgInfusion. This card doesn't see a lot of play. I don't think there's a lot of decks right now that's just really powerful into, but you can make a run in which you turn off the AgInfusion ability. You still, again, have to deal with the ice. You still have to deal with the defensive upgrades. There's still a lot of problems associated with the thing, but like technically for one influence, this is an AgInfusion tech card that also works against the Thule deck that doesn't exist, or like, I don't even know what else works well into this. R+.
Or for one influence, you could play Pinhole.
Yeah, that's what we're getting for the last one. This is the really, really, really big one. Pinhole threading is so a big part of the narrative, at least the way I've seen it when it comes to these sort of decks, is that people got complacent and stopped playing pinhole threading in their runners. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, at EMEA, I did not see a single pinhole all day, or maybe I saw like one. At CanNats, one of my opponents had more than one pinhole, and the first pinhole just is dead if I am able to ice all of the servers.
Yep.
So like, there was very little of it. I think people are changing that very rapidly.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the tricks with pinhole is it makes the matchup a lot better, but it does not solve all of your problems.
Yeah,
you still need to be able to make a successful run without getting booped on the pinhole run, because you just boop the pinhole run into the Keeling server, and then pinhole forces it to be in the root of a different server, and so they can't access the Keeling.
So the only way you can play pinhole is either if you have two in hand and you're okay with one getting booped and then you return with the other, or you can find a server, it has to be a central server, in which all of the ice on it is rezzed. So a lot of times what will happen is that you have to put pressure on a central server so they feel comfortable, or they feel it's necessary to res some ice on R&D and HQ. And as long as you can get through that one ice server without them having, something in front of it to boop you, that is the only way through. So like, it's still like a really difficult game. You still have to get in trash for 4, but it's this is a very important card. And if you're assuming that most decks that are on meta have 2 copies of pinhole, like as the AgInfusion, you're playing grounded. Like I don't think you're pushing out your Keeling until you even put an unresed ice on archives, right? Like you have to put an unresed ice on archives. It
really depends on, I'd say, the runner economy setup, because like if the runner doesn't have a good economic setup and they want to spend 5 credits on their turn to take down your first Keeling, if you have a second one in hand, or if you've got like other things going on, like you're just happy for them to spend a ton of money. Like say they have to break an ice and then trash the Keeling and pay for the pinhole, and they've paid like 8 or 9 credits that turn. Sometimes that's just good enough.
Yeah.
Especially early game, and then they just can't recover economically, and you just lock them out completely for the next one. If they have a good economic start, you definitely need to be a bit more conservative. Like one of the main weaknesses of the deck is if you commit to a Keeling push too early and you commit too many resources to that, and the runner is able to challenge that successfully, you can end up in a spot where you can't recover economically to be able to push the next one. And then once you're not putting pressure on, the runner's able to get ahead enough where they're able to sort of prevent you from establishing that lock again for the rest of the game.
Because the economy is like a real strain in this deck. There's not a lot of money to go through. Again, AgInfusion has that beauty where they can res one big ice and then like they can make that ice relevant on most turns. But like if you look at the list here, like subliminal messaging is something the runner can interact with. Let's say that. You have 3 hedge funds, 3 Hanseis, and Rashidas. And that's it. I've seen versions that are
And
regolith.
Mindscaping.
Oh, Mindscaping. Yeah, that's soft decod, I reckon so. Some versions are in regolith that go, a bit slower. It's something for the remote server. You can challenge that to some extent, but like you don't have a lot of money. So like you can be a bit more aggressive than you want. 8 as the runner is a big break point because the Nancy can be rezzed. Even forcing in a Nancy res, as long as it doesn't flatline you and it puts them down to 1 or 2 credits, like it's still a fine trade on most board states. So just being a bit more aggressive than you want to. Do we have to mention Sai Santan? Because like I'm trying to get Sai Santan banned on this channel. It's kind of been my goal for a while now.
We can. Carmen breaks it for 3, which feels bad after you pay 5 for it, and it doesn't do anything.
Well, you also can just flatline on turn 1, can't you?
Sure, but
you're not helping.
I could also play cards that reliably do it on turn 5 instead of sometimes doing it on turn 1 and are blank in most of my games.
This is the one bad face check. Vampire Nasa, mind you, is great in the deck. It gives you money back. You only res it for 5 credits. That's nice. That's often why you're seeing a teeny, not as often as Vampire Nasa. It's a bit cheaper. The subroutines on this are pretty relevant. Refilling your hand is good. And this is annoying to go through. It is really annoying to go through, especially because if this takes your money, that's the money you need for the pinhole, let alone anything else. I'm a Sai Santan enjoyer. Yeah, I believe it. I don't like that card. Otherwise, that's the list. I think there's going to be some play patterns that might be a bit unintuitive, but your ice placement is actually really important. Understanding to where you get your good stuff in front of it, to get your bad stuff behind it. You a lot of times want them to get through your expensive ice and then have an unresed ice behind that thing so you can get the boop after they pay like 7 credits. That's really good. So you have to be a bit like forward thinking on that. We want to talk about other like runner cards that help into the matchup. Like always when it comes to AgInfusion, the conversation of Hippo comes up pretty heavily because Hippo is the one card that inherently punishes you for having an outermost ice that is rude, and AgInfusion is a big enjoyer of rude outermost ice. What other sort of cards would you want to shout out? Or sorry, go ahead.
Got like the most effective runner thing against the ag right now is just to have enough money to be able to challenge things over and over.
Yeah,
like it's so much less any one specific card other than how important pinhole is, and Hippo. Where like the deciding fact of whether like a Hoshiko deck is going to have a good matchup into this is going to be like once like you're teched for like those fast Asa decks, right?
Yeah.
Well, now can you economically keep up with breaking the ag ice turn after turn as you need to be able to keep the ag from pushing that ag and locking you out? And once they've done that, like, can you actually afford to get a Hippo down and break an Anansi? And once you've done that, like, well, there's still Keeling clicking. Can you contest that all that fast with that much spend necessary to do it? Like, that's tough.
It's really, really tough. I think Jeff talked about this with the numbers that he looked at from the Continentals, and one of the big winners into AgInfusion is not something that I think I would have guessed, which is like one of the best matchups is one of the most underrepresented runner factions right now, which is Criminal. Like Criminal just does really well into AgInfusion, and it's mostly because central pressure early works really well, and they can't keep you out. And if you can convert strong central pressure and actually close the game out sooner than things get out of hand, that's pretty good. You've said you played a fair bit of Sable into AgInfusion, and it's not going in your way. Yeah, what's with that?
I have a losing record playing the AgInfusion against Sable against one of our QTM members, and like the way those games usually go is there's a Keeling that is doing quite a lot of work getting up to like very close to ending the game. Central pressure finds like 1, maybe 2 agendas by that point. a pinhole takes it down, and then it's just consistent central pressure that's able to close the game out before the second Keeling is able to get to a point where it's threatening enough pressure to be needed to be dealt with.
That's really cool. I don't know. Criminal aggression being valuable
It
is awesome. It feels good at least.
it takes a lot of you have to make some bold calls to about where you run and where you think the ag can't actually afford to res reliably,
Yeah.
because like there are definitely some punishes that will set you back very far trying to play that way. But like the ag, like if the ag is going to spend 8 credits to res an Anansi early, like, and that means that the ag then can't push in a Keeling for another 2 turns, 3 turns, like it can be worth tanking an Anansi face check early
Yeah.
to make that happen.
I think that's my big learning that I've got from these sort of AgInfusion games is the more aggressive you are, you know, to reasonable extremes, it pays you out really well, which is kind of counterintuitive. Shout out to Gregor. I got flatlined on Saisantan face check on turn 3 last weekend. Very sad. Had a good start otherwise too. Do you have any cards you had in your hand? That's really rough. Augusta's saying soft shout out to Miss Bones that can somewhat consistently be +5 credits to trash if you can get it. Yeah, this sort of card, right? Like it's obviously as soon as you trash one expensive thing, it's generally worth the tempo hit. That's, you know, 10 credits, and you're generally trashing a fair bit of stuff in this matchup if things are going well. Oh, 3 cards.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bones is good if you're already in a good enough position to be able to get in and challenge the Keeling.
Yeah.
That's a big if.
People are not playing Revolver. Is this the cheapest
Nope.
way to get through an Anansi in the early game? It's still
I think so.
4 credits. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And how do you get through a Bran? Like, you have to inside job it, I guess, because you're not career peering it, are you? I don't think you are. All right.
I've had one bypassed now once. That was cute.
Off the where they
Then I
just
booped
charging
them,
it
and then they had to go back and pay like 9 credits to get through again.
Yeah. Yeah. Amaku is also like a really interesting thing because like that to also like once you get your Amaku up to 6 strength, you're getting through everything really cheaply. This deck has to actually purge out, and like you do see a purge out to slow down fermenters if it's trying to like establish lock, and that's pretty cool. But it's another way to like kind of run rampant and have that convert into something that, you know, pushes you forward. Is there any contention?
Yeah, there's a really strong
Go ahead.
argument for one Mavirus in the list. I don't know that it needs it. Like one of the meta calls that we made for EMEA was that with the amount of like playing 3x Mavirus, like people were bringing less Amakua than they were in previous ones. And so we decided that like that was a card that we were going to tack a little bit less for, just because we didn't expect to see as much of it.
I think you saw like
and
no Amakua
I think I only saw one at EMEA.
Okay.
And it got like to 4 counters. And then I purged, and then they were not able to effectively get counters for the rest of the game.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The agenda suite.
Yeah, the most effective way to break an Anansi is Hush, and just to let everything fire.
Yes. I think I saw that
or Slap Vandal Hush.
On Jeff's stream. Like the win state that Arasana gets is like Hush and then some other nonsense on Anansi, and with Conduit, just keep going through it. Like just keep going through it until it doesn't matter, which is really goofy. Okay, I need to
just make sure you don't die to double Fuji.
Yeah. Speaking of the agenda suite, right? Like I've heard some, you know, some people like to send a messages more than the Fujis.
Yeah, we were originally on 3 Fuji, 3 send a message, 1 bacterial.
Okay.
And what we realized was that actually we want to keep ice unresed for pinhole boops and for just generally having the flexibility to use the ag ability, where like having 1 piece of ice resed was very important. And having like the critical pieces was very important, but that those were being resed before the send a message was being found, because the runner was making impactful runs on places that mattered.
Cool.
And so like we ended up just decided like we weren't getting the send a message value that we wanted to. Like if you have a send a message to go and you're like, I'm not going to res this Anansi because I need to be able to defend a thing next turn, like that feels pretty bad to lose like 8 credits right there. So like we'd rather not. And the Fuji is like, if you have like say an Anansi on HQ and you've got a Fuji in there, like you can just make it so the runner will just die on that run if they access.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yep. No, I've seen it. It's the sort of thing too, yeah, when they're on low hand size. The Nebony too.
Even good players, like I was playing against Lost Geek, who had to take a 1 in 5 chance of losing the game to have any chance of winning it.
What happened there?
Oh, I had I forget exactly what the run was, maybe setting up for a deep dive, but running on HQ when I had a Bacterial and a Fuji in hand, and he went down to 1 card to get in because I think of the anemone.
Oh.
I would have to go check the game log for exactly what happened, but...
Okay.
He was setting up for a legwork run. to try to win before the Keeling killed him.
Give me 1 second. This is loading like really poorly. I don't know. You see my JNet, right? Like it's suffering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, JNet's been a little rough
It's
lately.
not been great.
I played one game yesterday where we got DC'd like 5 times.
I think it says something on the front page that they've reverted some sort of like idling issue to hopefully deal with to make things run better. We'll see how this goes. Again, turn 6. Maybe it'll be a fast one. How hard is it to find within QTM people to like spar into AgInfusion? Like are folks tired of it already or no?
Oh no, we love playing against the Ag. I don't think that's a normal thing for people to like.
Yeah.
We have the sort of unique position of like we're trying to break the runner meta too. And so like playing against the Ag is this really interesting from a testing group perspective challenge of can you build a deck that's able to consistently beat this and like what are the best lines to beat it, even if you're like gonna go and play like 7 games and lose them all. Oh, here we go.
Hey, let's go. We got Wolf 2 here. 419. That's
This
not gonna
should
be
be
good.
interesting.
Thanks, you too. All right. Okay, 419. We have diversions we can play around to some extent. Some of our ice, if it's face down ice, I don't know if we have to pretend that we have to protect it, but we have like really strong economic pressure coming in. Now, if this is the CTZ deck, right, like the 2-wolf deck, it's like Legwork, Maker's Eye, Katurga for recursion. And he's just going to send it a lot, which like, yeah, I think that's the right thing
This should be interesting.
Yeah.
I think CTZ has probably the right crim fundamentals to play really well into this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there's I'm a bit worried about this. This hand seems good.
Yeah, I think this is a keep.
Yeah.
I don't love the Sadaka, but
no.
2 good pieces of ice, a hedge fund, and a Keeling.
Hey, Giles. This better have 3 forged activation order. I think he was messing with it. I watched his opening stream, not live, but last week. I forget what he was changing, but he was playing Los for a while, so maybe this is like that version updated. It had like D-res too, like Capybara, stuff like that. I know he's been working on that, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. So opening, do we want to get something as taxing as possible in HQ, like the Vampire Nasa, or do we want to put something that we can boop away from diversion of funds?
I think since we can res it and drop to low enough credits, let's see, if we hedge fund Vampire Nasa, that would be 4 credits that they would do for us. That would kind of suck. I think.
Yeah, because we get our money back. But I don't know if he just sends it if we have an unresed ice. Well, maybe he does because like we're not going to boop away. Like we're not going to have an open HQ turn 1. With this hand,
so I think we can.
After the version eats. So icing up
hedge fund for sure. I like the Sadaka innermost on the remote with a Bran outside it for the Keeling next turn. For this turn for protecting HQ, I might just go.
Magnet's fine, I think.
Magnet, take a credit.
Yeah. Do you want to protect this? The only question is like he can't safely boomerang this if he doesn't know what it is, if he's worried about Nancy.
If he boomerang dupes and we boop him, he loses a boomerang and he loses a dupe, and we spend a click to install a magnet that's probably not that great.
So you don't want to pay the credit, huh?
I don't think we do.
Okay. And we want to just leave this open for credit, or you want to put the Vampy there?
Yeah, we can put the Vampy there. I don't want to res it, though.
Yeah. So from here, like we need to top deck another hedge fund or another Hansei. How many turns do you just click for credit if you don't have what you're like? Do you try to draw to set up the lock, or you try to set up your economy first?
I often find that what I'm looking for is enough credits to defend the Keeling push, like once I've resed things on centrals as necessary, but that once I do, like once a Keeling's clicking for credits is just fine because you're putting pressure on the runner just by having Keeling there and having enough money to do stuff with it.
But will you push her out before we are able to res all our ice? Like how assured do you want to be into Pinhole, into the criminal matchup before you push out?
This early, I think it depends very much on what their econ start is. I think I would be comfortable pushing like next turn Sadaka, Bran, Keeling, and then like go from there and trust that like say they're on 2 Pinhole that they haven't found them in that many cards.
We don't care about this.
Here we go. We're gonna lose our Keeling now. It's fine.
Yeah, 1 and 3. We don't want to res this. Like I don't think we have to. No, we definitely want to res this.
No reason to res it.
Play around Hermes,
No reason
quote
to boop
unquote.
them.
Yeah, no, this is fine. It's not running well tonight. Oh, they hit it!
They always do.
Yeah, they always do. Feels bad. 1 credit though. Let's get another one. All right. I don't slap play subliminal. People
Draw
do.
first.
Yeah, you definitely draw before
Draw
you play
first because
that.
you can find Hansei review.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're keeping drawing here.
Yep.
They have
I
no
would draw
money.
again.
So now do we subliminal or do you want to keep your hand padded?
What I might do is go install Res Spin Doctor, discard the send a message, and then we can shuffle back Keeling, send a message, and not feel bad about that at all.
So if we do this, we'll be on 7. Yeah, okay.
We'll be on 6.
But do we want to subliminal first?
If we subliminal first, we don't discard.
Because this goes down. No, don't we still? Because we got into 3, then. Oh yeah, we don't.
If we play the Spin Doctor, we'll be on 4 cards. Go back up to 6.
Yeah. We don't have to res that now, do we? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We want to discard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cool. Are they killing AgInfusion when running punitive? No, because they don't have money. I think you could build some sort of weird hybrid, but I feel like those decks you're better off specializing because you need to play like your Digital Life. I'd be really surprised.
Influence is tough.
Yeah. As much as 17 is there, I feel like that deck would be better. Like, I don't think you want to halfway between 2 decks, but I could be wrong. All right. I guess through the magnet for 1 for probably the whole game. That's good.
Yep. But we can just boop them with the magnet and put something else there.
Do we want to aggressively shuffle back in the Keeling before we drew?
It's a tough call. I think leaving the send a message out in archives longer is probably worth it.
Yeah.
Um,
So take it here. We open with Mindscaping.
and we can Mindscaping here.
And we can always shuffle if it's like really ugly.
That's exactly it. If we see an agenda, we put the agenda on top and then we shuffle.
Okay. So I think the Sadaka is probably the least interesting card here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much because like we care about the 2 clicks that we're going to use this turn, and whatever we put on top, we're just going to draw. I think the Sadaka we can put on top and expect to shuffle away just fine.
Yep. So
and here I think we can go subliminal Tachibola on HQ and then
Anemone on the inside of server 1.
I would do a new remote probably because like.
Do you? I think he's gonna contest like to turn off subliminal. He'll run archives if it's not iced, won't he?
On 2 credits, I don't know.
Do you pay for this? It's the tattoo.
I think we can afford to here, and tattoo is gonna like be an econ card that he might not want to break unexpected.
Yeah. Okay. Build new remote server. Creature Mindscaping spin, Shades of Brainstorming, fetching. Yeah, if you don't want to draw the card, you get rid of it. It feels bad to draw the card that you Mindscaping away. All right, he just hedge fund or sure gambled. You can low key chuck
now
into
I
any
think we
JNet with a plan will be good. Yes. Do you want? We want to shuffle here before we draw. We don't want to draw the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll do her and the agenda.
Yep.
He has not been as aggressive as I thought he'd be.
Well, we can.
How precious it could be with the spin doctors.
Mindscaping and a hedge fund.
Yeah.
I would probably go for the spin doctor to try to find Keeling. Because if we find a Keeling here, we can go install Bran, install Keeling.
New remote, right? For sure.
Yeah.
No. I think CTZ would talk about how he's not actually into Turtle that much right now. So I don't.
Yeah, no, he cut it on the first stream.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do a subliminal, and we can put, I guess, an anemone on archives is just good enough.
Yep. Oh, we have one more.
And maybe play the Mindscaping first.
Yeah, let's get something better. Okay. Well, that's what we wanted.
Perfect. Right? Yeah.
So we'll put a subliminal on top, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna shuffle. I think if he runs the spin doctor, we just let him pay 2 credits to trash it. But let's. It's just an anemone on server 2.
Yep.
I might ice archives and push Rashida next turn when we can do like install Bran, install Rashida.
Yeah, I like that.
Because like we want the Bran resed anyways, we can afford to res the Bran, and like we're not going to like really change the rate we're applying pressure at, I think, with one install versus another install next turn.
I'm pretty sure CTZ is going to be on what's it called, Capybara. I'm assuming with that inside job like that. I think we let this go, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any
Yeah,
reason to shuffle this back.
Hey, Jolly, thanks for dropping in. Okay. So that's one subliminal. All right, so this is the one ice that we want to res if we could. Shibboleth is still 5 to go through Bran-fueled if you want to break all of it. Like, Bran-fueled is saw no play before standard rotation because of DNA tracker, and still pretty reasonable. You don't have to break all the
It's like just good enough. It's not amazing, but like it's nice that it turns on Anoetic Void. It's nice that it just does a lot of little nice things, and it's like really awkward with Buzzsaw, like 5 credits to break with Buzzsaw without some help. It's
Unity is
compared to something like Latini, where like the runner will take like 1 net and pay 2 credits, or like 2 net and 2 credits, and it's like just not impactful in most board states enough that we found.
Yeah, I totally see that. It's no DNA tracker. Yeah, the teeny. I like the Bran-fueled way better, especially if you res it for 5 at the early game when they try and be aggressive. That's so good.
I
can't tell. I think CTZ.
Oh, we might have DC'd. I don't know, but I see.
Yeah, it looks bad.
All right, give her the refresh.
CTZ streaming live too. I didn't realize he's also streaming live. I just want to like
exciting.
back off when he backs out because then the server disappears. UDC. Okay, so tell CTZ that we're gonna come back because I have to hard refresh. There's no reconnect button I don't know about, right?
Hey, that's a rejoin button.
Yeah. This is loading.
And
so
no, there
poorly.
is no.
I can't tell. So like the webcam stuff, we're doing all this sharing. Like there's a lot going on, but like I don't think this is on my end.
No, I think JNet's just struggling recently. Yeah. I was having a lot of DC problems the other day.
Hey Andre, how's it going? Yo, can you talk about QTM? How y'all do you collect data?
Do we collect data? Not really. Like, we rejoined the game. Oh god.
What the heck?
That was exciting.
We got in for a second. It worked. Yeah.
So, more than collecting data, we try to collect notes, and we collect like summaries of things so that people can share and internalize those, rather than like we're not like tracking, like say you have a practice session and it's like here's the win rates and here's like how many times each card got played. We're not looking at that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more vibes based, a lot of it.
I think the vibe stuff is interesting. I think like the data collation part is so fascinating, right? Like in Netrunner we saw so little of it. That's why like when Jeff was running the continental numbers, I think like everyone's perked up to be like, whoa, that's really, really cool.
It is hard to get good data. Like I want to do things like a little bit of tooling to like take JNet replays and figure out like what was installed, what wasn't installed. And so like if you feed it like 10 Hoshiko replays, like how many games did you actually get your hippo value, for example?
Yeah.
Would be like interesting questions to ask.
Right now I'm like editing through the CanEd stuff, so I spend so much time like doing graphics, so I can tell you like was this prepaid voice pad worth doing, stuff like that, which like a lot of folks, you find out at the end of the game, but that number doesn't get crunched. All right, surprise, we drew subliminal. Do we want to just do subliminal Rashida Anansi credit?
I would do subliminal Rashida Bran credit.
Do we not want the worst face check off the Nancy? Because I think he's going to inside job through this and then tank 3 net damage.
I think if he inside jobs it, we just give him the Rashida and don't res on any of the ice.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay. I'm worried that he's on that like run event where it's like after this run everything gets de-resed. Do you know which one I'm talking about? I always forget the name of it.
Oh, yes.
It's like
the one that I think of as tread lightly but isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think we're going to see that. So we have to like, maybe losing Rashida is not that bad. We will protect it. Do we res her? I don't know if we have to play around that.
I think probably not resing is...
Let's see how it goes. So I'll just take a credit
To be
here.
honest, this is my first time playing against 419.
Oh, no way. Cool.
With this, I was never paired up against 419. Just a lot
Fair.
of Sable internally because we figured Sable was better, and like playing the same fundamentals against Sable should translate pretty well to 419.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. When it comes to criminal right now, like I'm evaluating so many weird criminal econ packages because like I feel like they need to be doing something more interesting than just like the sit back 419, as much as like CTZ obviously had huge success with his thing. Sable and 419 are shockingly different. Oh, for sure. And especially like the way that, but obviously CTZ has like aggression in the way he plays, but like he's, you know, click to draw, liberate accounts, like sit back. Like he'd be playing Caddy Jones if he could.
Yeah. Hi, stream, meet my cat.
Welcome to the stream. Leave no trace power, guys. That's exactly it. Yeah, I think we're going to see that. Also, Izzy, Augusta says replay sifting is one of my current coding projects. If anyone else expressed interest in that, feel free to send them my way for coordinating. Kitty.
Oh, dope.
Do you want to introduce Kitty?
This one's Marcus.
Hey, Marcus. Did we DC again? Come on. Your commentary from the cons is it sentence is relevant right now? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it ain't.
Because like if the brand fires and we get to install a Anansi behind it, I think we're fine with that. We might keep it in hand so we have a Tachibula swap, to be honest. Like that's an interesting call.
I think it's more likely pressure centrals. Like at this point, we shuffled once the spin doctor. I'm assuming like the numbers come down to we should have one agenda in hand here. The CGZ was talking shit about the commentators who didn't believe in his lines, and then like playing his deck to be like, just draw, spend more clicks to draw, and like, I felt attacked. But yeah, I know it could draw. I just kind of want to send it. Okay, he's sending it. Bravado. Res the Vampy. And put us down to 5.
5 credits.
He has 2 clicks left, so we can test the server 2. We could trade an anemone into it, but we can't res the Bran.
This feels like a very low value access in terms of like what we actually get. I think we don't res here, and if he wants to unpassant us, like LOL.
Okay, so we're not prioritizing getting up an AgInfusion.
I don't think so, because like I would rather have a resed expensive ice on the remote than I would a resed Vampira Nasa right now.
For real?
Because like I'm not really wanting to spend clicks, or I don't really want to spend my ice booping on this board state yet without like a really high value thing to boop. And so like just because we don't have enough ice to recover from that in our hand.
I said 7.
So, like,
this is only functionally 5 though. That doesn't matter, does it?
Oh, if it
that seems
let's
good.
See.
Like,
so we would go down to 5, we'd be on 7. If we res Bran, then we go down to 1. 1's real low.
But we'll get Rashida probably, and we have a subliminal.
2 clicks left. I think we can res here.
Yeah, okay, cool. Event. He's worried about the Saisentan. All right, send it. Okay, so...
And yes, please, draw 2.
Oh, we got a sneak door. Nice, and a boomerang. So we'll draw 2. We're looking for a hedge. Okay, we have a Keeling. That's good.
Keeling's honestly perfect. Like Rashida will fire, we can push Keeling next turn. We can go like subliminal Keeling, cold sight, and have a click left to do something else that matters.
Gus says, you're totally right. I forgot he could break, but he decided not to. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess they don't.
That would be that would like take all the bravado
expensive.
value.
Yeah.
You would like.
Ooh. Okay. Fuji.
Cool. Well, there's an anemone on server 2. So
yeah, send it. So the faster he gets here, the worse the Shibboleth gets. Oh, threat 4 is so good into this deck.
Oh yeah, threat 4 is wild. Shibboleth is like ag tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still.
Yo, how good is ablative in this list?
If you get to threat 3, it's probably fine. It's a lot of influence for something that where you don't actually want to lose agendas.
Yeah. Rashida, let's go.
Please, yes. The cat is making it very hard to hold the microphone.
Give the cat the microphone. Okay, so we have a Hansei that's easy. We have a hedge fund, so we could always do like Hansei hedge put down Keeling. We have one server open for Pinhole, so we could play one economy card Keeling and then just put some ice in front of R&D. So this is the thing that like I don't understand fully is like how do we keep this relevant but also don't lose to Pinhole? He only has one card in
I
hand. He'll have
think
3 soon.
like the boop in this particular build should really be considered way more about a pinhole or like a click
Okay.
tax on the remote that is trying to actively kill them in the next 3 turns than it should be about making them face check into an Anansi. So I think like here we can put like I would put Anemone outside R&D. I would Hansei review trashing the subliminal, and I would still install the Keeling in server 2.
Okay. Are you protecting the Anemone? I don't think we care.
You know, I might protect the Anemone. We have enough money for it, and
Well, I just installed the Keeling.
like the Anemone is a card that
I installed the Keeling first.
Yeah.
So we have to, yeah, by definition.
Yeah, and like the Anemone is a card that like if they call it wrong when a Keeling is clicking down, they will just lose to it.
Yeah.
So like
yeah, that's good. That's good. Keep that hidden. So we have 2 Anemones on table. Diversion, we're pretty good. We have Tattoo Bola. We have lost a Sneak Door, which is nice, and a Carmen, mind you. I think he lost a Carmen to.
Yeah, losing a Carmen was huge.
What did he lose a Carmen? And a Pinhole. Okay, Liberate is down.
So to the Fuji.
To the Fuji. Oh, that was okay. So the first 2 was that to Fuji. Wow, that's really good. I'm gonna res this.
Yes, please.
Let's go. So we're gonna get both subliminals back. Your daily life strats.
Yep.
Okay, we got
our
last spin is here.
Cool. So we can go subliminal.
Hedge ice server 2.
Hedge fund. I would just put cold sight in and click cold sight once.
Okay. You think he's gonna contest it?
I think there's a chance. I think it's unlikely. I think like what's more interesting is like that we're in a position where like the onus is really on him to figure out how to deal with this here, right?
Yeah.
So like now like anything that happens, like if he's trying to do a play that's like doofed to be able to challenge the Keeling, or if he's trying to do like something where he has that, now there's like an additional thing that has to be factored in.
Yeah,
so like he's got the money for it, but he's only got the 1 breaker. So it's really more like it's about hedging to the event outs.
Yeah.
Rather than like expecting that he's going to immediately challenge the Keeling in this server right now.
Because I think you're right. I think we're more likely to secure like a leave no trace or inside job on the remote server.
Yeah.
Which like, yeah, this helps.
And then we just like probably boop an inside job.
Yeah. With the innermost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actual ag ability reads unres ice as the border control text more than anything, setting it into Nazi's only rare gravy. Okay. That's a different change. Like back in my day when people played, you know, non-killing AgInfusion, it was all about like getting that outermost. But yeah, now we have a much more direct.
If you can get a resed outermost Anansi to boop them into, that's great. Mm-hmm. But if you can't, like, it's still really good because the point here is to defend the Keeling. It's not to like make them hit an Anansi over and over for tax.
One of the best corp abilities in any faction, and the ID gets 17 influence. Every year we get closer to not living with FFG's interesting design choices. This is not the first like really, really powerful 17 influence. Like what in any age, I guess. Titan.
Yeah.
Both of those are.
Someone asked if Ag was supposed to be a balanced version of Mati, and I had to point out that Mati came out later.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally really appreciate the praise
back. Ag wasn't good enough.
Yo, it's John, right? How's it going? I saw your montage last week. Hopefully you're doing well. Back in my day. That's, you know. Have you played Mati yet? Have you got time to play Mati in like Eternal? Because Mati is before you got into the game, right?
So I've played Mati in there was an event that was called Toxic Startup like last year, and what it was Ashes and the first part of Borealis with all of the IDs taken out and replaced with like Noise and Mati and nice. Haley and like all the classic like best IDs, most toxic IDs. And so it was like, are these still broken with the startup card pool? It turns out Mati is pretty good when you can be like, hey, here's a Saisentan. You don't have a killer. Good luck.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we did back in the day. More dots. Wouldn't Biovault be better near in the future considering Pinhole will become prevalent in the next event?
Biovault is an option.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Shout out to WoW players. Does Pinhole work with no, because the new Adrian doesn't work on, it works on Breach. Oh, here's a Pinhole. So we have to boop him.
Cool. We
Boop him
do indeed boop them
to server
into
2?
the Keeling server.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has to have another one here. And then if he does, that's the last Pinhole until he Katurgas them.
Yep.
So okay, so this interaction.
Little sad to lose an anemone here, but
yeah. Why is he there? That's just a glitch, right?
Because he encounters the first ice, but the first ice is not rezzed, and so he immediately passes it.
We don't want to pop this. Try and shoot.
We have no need to. Pinhole's going to force him to access something else. There's nothing else to access, so the Pinhole's going to whiff.
I was just wondering if the chance that he makes this play because he has the second Pinhole and that we have a 50-50 on sniping it. Yeah,
well, only if he continues, which if he continues, yeah, we res that there because
okay.
Absolutely we try to snipe the Pinhole there, but there's no world in which continuing there is the right play. And
yeah.
CTZ, of course, accurately figured that.
Hey, Mark Andre, how's it going? Congrats again on top 8, man. Really well done. Mark Andre is in the chat, Izzy. He is now your rival because he was that 0.03 on you.
Ah, yes. Hey, Mark Andre. I'm bad at rivals.
Oh, that's fine. That's
I just want to play Netrunner with people.
No, that's very good. Did you play New Angeles?
If you're rivals with someone for more than 3 years, sorry.
Sir, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're rivals with someone for more than 3 years, you're lovers now.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if you had played New Angeles before because I know you were one of the New Angeles players at CanNets.
No, it was my first time.
How'd you like it?
New Angeles was cool. I'm glad I played it.
It's a really cool game.
I think like overall it was complex enough that I would rather just step up to Battlestar Galactica, but like part of it was also that we were a bunch of exhausted Netrunner players having just played 10 rounds of competitive Netrunner going into it, and so I think the game lost a little bit of its negotiation flow to the fact that we were all entirely wiped.
I think
the fact that he hasn't just slammed a second Pinhole here feels pretty good.
Yeah, or we've DC'd. It's one of the others.
One of.
Oh, inside job. Here we go.
Okay, cool. Here's an interesting thing. So we're at no clicks left. We've used the Bran ability. We're at 11 credits.
He's got us here.
Oh yeah, he's gonna trash it. It's a question of whether we want to get the Bran res now, because Bran is actually a pretty decent boop target if they don't have a great way to deal with it, because just like getting more ice on the inside. So I think here we
don't anemone to flush the hand, right? That'd be after the Bran, if anything.
Yeah, we don't have a great way to kill from here, and especially with no clicks left, we're gonna do that. So I think here I think we just...
I think we do res it.
We'll be on 9 credits. Yeah, I think we can res the Bran here.
Yeah. So he goes through it. And like maybe he can panic and jack out here because he understands he could die to Saisentan. Or to Anansi, he doesn't die because he has 2 credits.
Yeah, dies... he does not die to Anansi here, but probably doesn't love it.
Yeah. So we can't really... Can we hope that the Bran will fire to put an ice between these at some point? Can we like feed him the 3 damage?
I think we hold on to the 3 damage because it will just kill out of nowhere, and that like value damage doesn't really matter here, right? Like there's an Earthrise on the table. We're gonna draw back up next turn. We're so fine. Hey
Gabriel, how's it going? Good to see you on the weekend. I didn't get the part where they got booped to innermost ice. So AgInfusion forces you to encounter the outermost ice, and that means they failed to encounter this one because you can't encounter unresed ice, so it pushes them kind of sort of in.
We started that turn with like what did CTZ have? 15 credits there?
Yeah.
And without even breaking the Bran, we're already down to 4 and then 4 on the Liberated.
Okay, so we want to reset establish lock. So ice on archives, no problem. We have a subliminal we can do, no problem. Do we spin doctor to find another Keeling, or do we just like simulation reset part of our hand?
I think we sim reset our hand and shuffle back, spin doctor, Keeling, a bunch of ice.
What do we get rid of our hand? I never played this card before in any way that made me feel good.
Oh, just dump everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Here we go. Bird barbecue. Yeah, Extern, how's it going?
We can't afford any of this ice. The spin doctor's like nice to have, but like we'll draw it again.
Yeah. Draw all.
The subliminal doesn't matter. We're gonna leave it in archives. Well, cool. So it's gonna be.
No, sorry, I didn't click on the Vampy apparently.
Yeah.
Try that again. 1. Hey D, how's it going? Can we confirm everything is green? I think that's right.
Yep.
Fuck. What's going on?
Why is this so hard?
What's going on? A third time's a charm.
Right from right, left to right, maybe.
I'll do like a random arcane order. It did not get the spider. It did not get the Mamperanasa. I did it.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So Keeling.
Spindo, Keeling.
Spindo. Do we need more money back?
Yeah, I would do probably a Nancy and Hansei review.
Do you like Hansei better than Hedge?
Yeah, because we were gonna have subliminals at some point, and like, it's just one more credit on the card.
Yeah. That's ass.
2 bacterials isn't great, but we can.
Do we just push her out and hope that he doesn't have the last thing? The last pinhole? We've seen 2
I
so
would
far.
probably go Anoetic and Rashida here.
Okay.
And try to draw for more ice.
Do we protect
like
the
HQ feels pretty safe here.
You're protecting this? For 1 or no?
Yeah, I would pay the 1.
Okay.
Just because, like, then if he does have pinhole, now it's a 50-50, and like,
yeah, that's true.
I think that's better for us. We're not going to protect it if he manages to run server 2, but if he wants to get through a Bran this turn, that feels unrealistic without like the 3rd inside job, I think.
I push Rashida first. Yeah, Rashida's really good. Yeah, we definitely need ice on archives. He's on 1 also, what's it called? Sneak door. If he's on the 2nd sneak door, we might have a problem.
Yeah.
As much as
sneak
going
door
down to
be
0.
rough here.
Yeah. These cards aren't Keeling. Give me new cards. I don't know if I said hi, Xern. How's it going? Special guest. Tell me about it. Just hopping on to give a shout out to QTM being an awesome voice in this community. Hey, David. How you doing? Okay. Archives check. Checking for spin. No action.
Yeah, turns off subliminals.
Yeah. Just keeping us honest. Appreciate it. Okay, so we need ice up archives. Our game plan is get a bit more money, ice up archives, push Keeling next turn.
Yep.
If we have a spin doctor, we'll use it to fix our hand. Because I'm assuming at some point, like, there will be HQ pressure, and this is obviously like a game-losing hand.
Yeah, I would definitely, if we got a spin doctor. Okay, so once we get a spin doctor, I will figure out what the lines are with, like, does it make sense to try to Anoetic to trash the 2 agendas with a spin on the table? Or is there not a line where CTZ doesn't challenge the spin doctor before doing that, so we need to overdraw to ditch the agendas? Yeah. Like, it's a little tricky, and it depends on what our hand actually is at the time we see the spin doctor.
Cool. We're on full 3 spin doctors, 1 simulation reset, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 spin docs left.
Genotyping? Is that worth anything? I think simulation resetting is a way better card on tempo.
Yeah, and we'd been on attitude adjustment, but we cut it.
Oh, yeah, right. Some versions were on that.
It was just not needed. The 3rd Bran was better use of the influence. And
yeah. Would you rather have an agenda in HQ or R&D? Like, where do you find more pressure? Like, I feel like more of the multi-axis cards right now are in R&D. Like, in the
yeah, R&D is like... I mean, it depends. Like, here, I'm more worried about a legwork than I am about R&D multi-access out of Criminal.
Yeah, me too.
But in general, like, having them in R&D feels a little better until, like, there's a certain turning point where the density gets too high for comfort, but, like, which we're getting close to.
Yeah, and just a matter of time before the Hermes comes down. Not that it's going to trigger, like, more than once more before the game's probably over.
Yeah.
But it is an impactful card. Kato saying,
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Andre, hey, chat. Great. Ag play. Maybe I'll feel less like it's impossible to play against. Seeing it from this end, like, you actually see we're not as anywhere near as powerful as it looks from the other side, where you're really intimidated by all the ice. Like, we have, I wouldn't say exactly narrow margins. There's a lot of trades that, like, are just kind of, you know, favor us, but it's always really important to play the other side of the table to see, like, how they feel and where it's weak. Also, shout out to Jeff, did a great stream yesterday, doing basically this exact same thing. Actually, I'll cut up on the older Netrunner podcast. I'm probably going to start QTM after the weekend. So guess timing. It's a lot more fragile than it looks. Yeah, for sure. You think CTZ's dots or CTZ's DC'd? Oh, we DC'd. No, we're not.
Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
Cool. He's lost a couple breakers. Well, he's lost his Carmen. I think he's on 2.
I suspect he's on duplicates of embezzle. Okay, when does he call what he calls for embezzle?
I don't know, but like he can't call agenda. So like, can we just let this go through?
He'll name asset and we'll lose Keeling probably.
But if we had Keeling, we put it in the remote server, right?
Why don't we just res Tattoo Bola for 2 credits and end the run and make him be like, yeah, you can't get in until you do. And once you do, it's going to be econ for us.
Okay. I guess we don't have to show the hand.
Like,
Vincent says I never know how to be Aga's Crim, but I think I'm too aggressive when I die. From the numbers, it seems like Criminal is actually the best matchup. Being aggressive is actually really, really good.
Because like we've got a Rashida behind a Bran, we're gonna get back up to 8 credits this turn. We can afford 2 to end the run and not like reveal that we have the game in HQ and shitty ice.
I'm like pretty sure that he would say ice when he rips this.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that's the one line that makes sense. Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Rashida.
Okay, he cycled Earthrises. He's about halfway through his deck. A rule of thumb is against Shaper, you are fairly safe holding agendas in HQ. Against Entering and Crim, you take any opportunities to avoid twinning and legwork.
Yeah, that's a pretty...
Oof. Twinning was really good at Canets this last weekend. Okay. So, jamming Keeling holding 9 points feels rough, but we can do Keeling, Ice, Archives. We don't have to... Do we have to pay to protect her? I don't think we do.
I think we can show the Keeling and probably want to because we're a little low on credits right here. I think we can just put the magnet on Archives and click for a credit even.
Yep. I like that. And the lock begins again. We definitely can lose to Centrals. Like 1 legwork won't exactly cost us the game because we can redirect. But like, again, if you ever feel super unpowerful against AgInfusion.
Yeah, we do have like 2 critical boop things that could happen in the same turn here with Earthrise happening.
And CDZ is going to be a sort of player who can deliver that really well in forecast. He's been really good at generating forks.
Cool. Absolutely.
Cool thing about Bacterial though, it's like if you hit one of them, you can always flood your hand, so it's harder to hit the other ones.
Yep.
So they're like pseudo defensive. What do you normally do in a game when you draw with like Bacterial? What's like the cool play that you get the turn after? Is it just like now we've definitely found Keeling, or is there anything cool the deck can do specifically?
Honestly, it's almost always put them all right back on top of R&D, bury all the agendas, and be like, hey, you can't get that deep in R&D before the game's going to be over.
God, this card is so annoying. 7 is so much, but you're right. It'd be like, it's 7 cards down. Good luck. I know where 6 points are. Is huge.
Yeah, Augustus has a good point that it might be better to show the magnet on Archives.
He's been a bit scared of face checking because he thinks we're on Saisantan, so I kind of value the hidden information here. But like, he knows that this is not an agenda, so like we're weak to falsified regardless. If we could falsify the upgrade. We can't really use his animating void, right?
We can use it. It's tough. I would not want to use it on this turn, but like it really depends on how many clicks he's got left.
Yeah.
I
gave Rotom a turn 1.
We do have.
Sorry, go ahead, Izzy.
We do have 1 in 10 on Spin Doctors in the deck, which feels all right. Like.
Yeah, it's not too bad. That's the way we get out of here. So it's on what?
And like it is hard to effectively call that you should be challenging HQ here, right? Like we are flooded, but like we also sim resetted, and it's like hard to tell like where everything is after that.
You say that, but it's like Wolf 2 is going to send it no matter what to HQ.
Oh yeah. And I think there's a good chance that like if there's a pinhole here for a Keeling with no counters to like just pay 4 credits when he's on sick with no recovery, I think we might let the Keeling go and go install advanced bacterial next turn.
Yeah.
And like keep the boop to protect HQ here. Like it's really hard to invest in a Keeling here with this amount of flood to manage. Like this is a place where we might actually like think about scoring out reasonably.
I don't think it's too hard to tell you're flooded. I feel like every time that I like aggressively like full hand simulation reset, I always flood. Like to me, this is like they just drew 5, so like you definitely want to be running HQ. As much as like draw 5 shouldn't be any much worse than like, I don't know. This is obviously a bad draw. Everyone knows the sim reset is always a guaranteed draw 3 agendas. Exactly, yeah. Every time I played it, this has happened. Really thinking?
Which is good.
Yeah, on stream, you don't want to face check. Okay, he's pushed for it.
Okay, so what's he gonna click here?
All of it.
Cool.
Can we afford the boop or can we afford Anoetic? I feel like we can barely afford any of these.
Okay, so the boop would be into nothing because they'll jack out.
Yeah, tattoo.
It's an anemone.
Yep.
I mean, I think if he wants to spend his whole turn to make us install a new piece of ice, we've got the Sadaka to put on it. We can go Sadaka, cold site, click cold site, and have like 4 in HQ with 3 agendas, which feels pretty bad. But like, I think we just
would it be better than Anoetic here? Like having the ice behind the Bran seems so valuable.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
I think it's really tough. I think the Anoetic's very expensive because it means we have exactly 3 agendas in HQ, and that's pretty rough. And so I think like protecting HQ here has a little bit more value.
Yeah. So you want to res it? Because if we res it anyways, we have to like not have to. We'd probably throw out a card anyways. So it's like half the damage. Of
no, we're not. We only res the anemone if it kills. I think.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I think redirect. It's either boop or Anoetic. It is the last click, but like I want the cold site server because it's like we're so close to having a point where you can't click through the Bran all the way. And once we go like cold site, install cold site, then we can just like say like, yeah, you can't get through unless you let us install a nice innermost. So I say boop.
Okay.
I guess boop into archives because he'll jack out if it's R&D, but like if not, there's a chance it's an agenda on top, and
it's unlikely. But he'll jack out anyways.
No reason to risk it.
There's no reason. You're on HQ now.
Not HQ.
Why not?
Oh, I guess HQ is fine. I would have done archives. There's nothing in there.
But this is cool because then we've established we've established some sort of dominance where like we want him to run HQ, so he doesn't want to run HQ.
Sure.
This will stick with him. Don't worry. We res the Keeling here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we hope we draw ice.
No.
Cool. Well, we can. It's a magnet on archives?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Do we just credit cold site advance? Or not advance, like hit it so that he can't click through it?
Yeah, I think that's probably the line here.
Because then for those, the line is that if he clicks through the end runs, we get an ice back and he gets booped.
Yeah.
Okay. Really cool card, this cold site. Nope.
Nope, we're immediately resing it. And there's some things we're weak to here, but there's not going to be a board state on this turn where we have enough credits to not have something we're really weak to here.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually we'll get a second ice there, but we just need to draw into something okay. If we draw a subliminal, we can like Hansei. It's okay. I think at this point, if he can't run this,
there's a chance that we Hansei even the bacterial and just like let him go get it and fix R&D.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, he needs to find his fractor. I'm assuming he's on Kurapira, which like he can farm if the tattoo bowl on the outside. Admittedly, once he goes through it, we can make it a Sadaka, which like it's not a great spot to be in.
Yeah, Sadaka is literally just a boop here.
Yeah. Yeah, this one trashes resources. Ag isn't playing super slowly. Both players are spending like 5 minutes a turn to think, talk, and stream. Also, JNet's running really bad. Like, our turns have taken long, and it's not been our choice half the time. But yeah, we're trying to talk through everything. You can watch CTZ side. It's on San Francisco on YouTube. I think the channel is called Jackson Howard, but it searches under San Francisco. I'll link it in the notes after. Iceman Bran isn't that much better than the ETR from having 2 cards in hand. I'm not sure I follow that. Like the idea that Anemone later.
No, the Anoetic. Like, but the problem is like Anoetic's so hard for us to do here. So
Yeah.
like we need like the option because like it can really set up states we just win from, but like we would really rather not need to use it.
What do y'all think about Adrian? It's obviously not Anoetic, but like it's cheaper.
I mean, I feel like part of the problem with Adrian is like what we're looking for is the piece that like amplifies the other defensive upgrades, and Adrian does that once. But once they do it, they either get in,
Yeah,
or they take care of Adrian. It's like I don't think it's enough in something like this where we have the option to create like a real hard lock, where we often do have the ability to
shit.
Ooh, this is cute. This is
really
run
cool.
any server
This is
to get a pinhole back.
Or an inside job.
Or an inside job. So if it's inside job, we need to Anoetic it, and then he'll have 1 click left to deal.
Yeah. We have to let this through. Because rezzing this doesn't do anything, and then we have a weakness. Booping this.
Well,
actually, is booping this
if
fine?
we
Yeah, booping this
boop
is fine.
it into Bran, and then.
But then he can click through
Okay,
it.
so.
Oh, wait, that doesn't matter.
And he clicks through it. Does Katorga replace the access or in addition?
In addition.
No, it's in addition.
Before,
okay.
Yeah.
If he clicks through it, then we Anoetic, and that sucks, but we eat the Katorga breakout.
Shouldn't we just send him onto HQ and then it ends the run?
Well, I'm worried now that we're so deep in the deck that he's got another pinhole in hand. I think we let this through, and then we use our ag ability on whatever comes next.
Okay.
Which will be the inside job, and we'll probably Anoetic it out, and then he'll have 1 click left to do something.
Okay.
And I think like we're kind of okay there.
I think there's a chance that he's only on 2 pinhole.
I think that's probable. And they're both out now?
Yeah.
Or only one's out?
2. We got 1 to damage, 1 he used. So
yeah.
I honestly think
2 is
this
pretty
is
likely.
like okay. I know he's on 2 Katurga though. So yeah, whatever. This goes through. Cool. I am one for enjoying the detailed examination of all possibilities, even if you can't really play this at a tournament. No, this is so important.
Like if it's
Sorry?
it's pinhole threading, he's only got 4 credits.
Yes.
So it's got to be credit pinhole.
And that's useless.
And we boop, and then it's into the Bran, and so he has to spend the click, and we get an ice install. Like, I'm not super worried about pinhole here.
I think he doesn't do it this
I don't
turn.
know. I'm curious about what the play is. Yeah, later turns it's definitely scarier, but later turns we have like more ability to handle that. And like right now he still has to like make 3 discard decisions, and now pinhole is a card that he wants to hold on to. So like
I think the best case
I don't know what other pieces he's got. He doesn't have any econ.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do. That's good.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
And
oh, she's back.
Neat. We can.
So we can't basically res ice. It's only a matter of time before he's going to go run HQ.
Draw Hansei review whatever we draw, and then click the cold site server.
Okay.
Perfect. Hansei that
Anoetic? Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I think he's going to get a breaker down, and he's going to actually run HQ. And if we boop, then he pinholes. So like he's actually generating some really mean forks.
But unless you can legwork, I think we're fine with a single on HQ, right? Like we can let 1 bacterial go. We have a Keeling that's going to still be very hard to contest.
Yeah.
And honestly, having a little more space in HQ is going to be nice for having like drawing up to be able to have stuff we can feed to Anoetic.
His Nats list or Continentals list was on 1 legwork, 2 Katurga, 1 Maker's Eye. I'm assuming so far this looks card for card. Except no, he had 3 Amaku in the other list, and he.
Yeah, I think he cut the 3 Amakua for 1 each of each breaker.
Okay, and he didn't have Embezzle.
To go to doubles of breakers.
And no, he didn't have Sneak or Embezzle. Okay, so this is slightly different. But yeah, I think you're right. He only had 1 of each breaker. So this is better. Watching both sides of this has been so cool. Yeah, I'm super excited to watch the other side as well.
I'm really looking forward to that too.
Because he's playing this clean. He's playing this quite well. How much
Yeah,
ag?
this is a great example game to learn from
Yeah.
so far. Like,
Do you know how much ag was that American? I don't feel like there's a lot.
at American Nats, I don't think there was any ag, or
Yeah.
at least none that I was aware of, and certainly not the Keeling ag like this is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like way more of an acid meta at a lot of the tables. All right, 6
Are
credits.
we DC'd or are they thinking?
Nah, we're thinking. I don't know if CTC had
One ag
said
in Americas, apparently.
1 egg. Okay, cool. Me too. I don't know what CTC is going to be streaming regularly because streamed on last Wednesday. I don't know if he normally streams on Thursday. I've run into him multiple times throughout the years, like streaming. We play against each other. Yo, Cody, how's it going? I got your message on Discord. Apologies, I haven't responded to it yet, but yeah, it's I'll respond to it after this message or after this game. Excuse me. There's the pinhole.
Cool.
Do we like boop this
So
and lose to
like,
sneak door?
I think we. So if it's sneak door, we have a turn to deal with it. It's a little awkward. Um, I think
Drag into
I think we
Bran?
need to boop this because do we need to boop this? Okay, so if we let this go and he trashes the Keeling, he's on 1 credit dripping for 4. We have another Keeling, but it's gonna be slow. I think here we boop this into the Bran
Yeah.
and we get the Sadaka behind the Bran.
Yep.
And then like the remote's much more short up.
Well, we don't get the Sadaka. We get something from archives, right?
Oh yeah, we can install Bran installs from archives.
Yeah, right? HV cards.
Bran is a wild card.
Bran's
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. Let's go meet the Bran.
Yeah. So hopefully he clicks through parts of this. I think the line here, if he has, is like Katurga to get another pinhole, but if that's the case, he doesn't have the money to do it this turn.
Yeah.
So now he encounters the Bran. So 1 separate team is irrelevant. He could click through all of it, but that would be a huge misplay.
Correct.
Hey, Invisible, are we DC
For
or
those
thinking?
watching,
It's hard to tell sometimes. That's why we're constantly in chat, just like chirping at each other.
for those watching, the reason it's a misplay is that once you're pinholing a server, you can't access cards in the root of that server. Pinhole forces you to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And pinhole's not optional, which like is a really fun one to understand. No stress. Hey, cheers. I don't know that he has a super regular streaming schedule. I thought he used to. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like that cool ice cream shop that only has some flavor sometimes. I think he's thinking about the clicks.
Well, do you let that fire and have 3 clicks left to try to recover your econ, or do you give us the ice or not? Like, it's a hard question. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That
I
is
would have
cool.
thought he would have thought that through before. Like, I would assume that, like, there's 2 outcomes there, right? Like, either we let the Keeling go or we
He
boop you
goes
into
into the
Bran.
Bran,
And
yeah.
so.
Bran is real cool, tell Izzy. Yeah. Yeah, they know.
Oh, yeah. CTZ was shit talking Bran when at the start of the stream.
Yeah. So there's like this card, you know, you don't see a lot of out of action. I think there's like really interesting inclusions. Anytime I see Bran in a deck where I don't expect it and it's good, right? Like I saw Bran in game nets to get back like advertisements, like like loot boxes and weird stuff that cost the runner money. Like there's some really weird inclusions. So they click through it. Also, they were a wonderful guest earlier. Shout out. Nice. Oh, they clicked through all of it. They made the mistake.
Do you want to ask if they want to undo that?
You sure about that? Not the cool guest thing, but the axis here. Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I think there's no chance you're running this remote ever, so letting everything fire is probably fine. Oh, like you're giving up on it? I feel like they have to. I think they only have 2 pinhole and more Katurga. Like maybe. You can undo it.
You are the judge.
Oh, that's me. Hold on. Nice.
/ end run, maybe?
Yeah, I have to. I'll just fire this.
Perfect. That's a chat log message.
Last weekend, cutting a magnet for second Bran proved to be a great good call. Yeah, it's like this weird
But
tech
yeah, I think
war. Like people stop playing as much botulus because magnets everywhere.
clicking the brand sub there makes sense. Like even if you're not planning to run the remote, like it's probably something that you have. No, they clicked through the
They clicked the first
first
one.
brand
Yeah,
sub. They
yeah,
only got 2 clicks back.
yeah.
Um,
His first click was pin
because like
one.
getting us an ice out of archives is just like so much value.
Yeah, it's really
Like
good.
it's just like it's free for us to do it. It means that you're just like so committed to not being able to get into the remote in the future. Whereas right now, it's like there's a chance you can still get in.
I think CTC's line here is like inside job the remote. I think that's the only way that he deals with this brand relatively well, but like not this turn. And then obviously with Anoetic, which pairs really well into that. So like he has to have some weird stuff here. Like I think he has to do like inside job into Capybara and then like run the server multiple times. Oh, cool. Hand size doesn't matter. That's cool. That's a lot of money though. Pico, this is one of the most fun
dripping
games
for
I've
4
watched.
feels all right.
Yeah, he'll recover from this. 3 out of Hermes. Okay. So he's technically on 1 hand size. We have a spin though. Do you want to just fix our hand?
Perfect. 16 and R&D. Yeah, let's fix our hand.
We need
so
to
it's
hit
going
the
to
cold
be
site.
install. Yeah, we need to hit cold site. So install and res will be on 7. We'll click cold site and we'll click for a credit.
Nice. Oh, do we need ice up archives actually?
I
think we do.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay, so we pitch bacterial. We can fire Anoetic here. So I think it's
Ice archives hit this. Discard 1. It's the best we got.
okay. I think it's Ice Archives. Click for a credit and trust the Anoetic.
Yeah.
Um,
Do we Braun archives ever?
I don't think there's a reason not to. We're not going to afford to res it on the remote. It doesn't matter if there's like it is much more useful than. And we can let a bacterial go here. Yeah. A little unfortunate we can't get 2 in archives. I might have.
That would have been better.
Not clicked the cold site there, but it's like it's tough.
He runs it.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I think if he runs this,
But if he runs it, we just Anoetic.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he has to spend the whole turn and we pitch an agenda and something else and get to spin it back, like I think.
Yeah, I don't think the spin doctor looks
like. If he challenges the spin doctor, then like.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the cold site tax already.
He has his own issues that I don't think he can contest. I think he has to deal with this. So I think he has to inside job this. So getting another ice in front of it just to eat the inside job, like that's fine. But yeah, this is still really hard. And like if he's on Kurapiro, good luck breaking a Braun. I still think the way we lose is off is on HQ.
Yeah.
Max power counters. Yeah. Huge power counter server. Do you ever hit this thing more than once or no? That's just like not necessary.
It's pretty rare. Like you can if you have a spare click and like if you're thinking about like between clicking for a credit and clicking it a second time just as like, hey, you can make 1 run on this server now. And it can just like absolutely be a hard lock. But like often it's just good enough to click it once and do better things with your other 2 clicks. Like it's pretty click intensive to be trying to click it twice every turn. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Once it's clicked once, the chances are that the runner is not going to run it anyways. And so like spending an extra click to make really sure they're not going to run it is like usually weakening something else too much.
We like stop talking about diversion, right? Like obviously there's 3 diversions somewhere, but like I don't think money's gonna be that
Here
big
we
of a
just
deal.
let him diversion us. Like we're not really looking to res any other ice.
Generally,
like maybe resing.
If he diversions and then accesses instead, that's what we're more worried about.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. So like,
but like he still has to break a Tatubola.
Yeah, I know.
He still has to install a breaker and get through it.
And soon he's like dead to anemone runs. As much as like I think 2 of our anemones are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if he challenges Spin Doctor here, we shuffle back like the agenda and an anemone.
Yeah.
Losing the anemones is pretty rough. I think like those were unfortunate to have to boop with. I would have much rather keep those on the board, but it's like you have to play with the ice you get.
Yeah. And so now if he has a lot of cards in hand that he needs to install, like if he thinks he needs his killer and something else, so like Boomerang's a start here. Bravado. Okay.
Cool. We have 1 click left.
Yeah.
So I think
we swap this with Sadaka or not even. Like I don't think we need the money. I think we want the end to run. The thing is, if we don't swap it, it makes him think we're flooded.
I think he thinks we're flooded regardless. So the question is like, do we boop him into the Bran to get the either the install from archives or to just like end the turn here with the innermost ice? What's innermost on HQ? Is that still an anon
It's a bad
magnet? Okay, like the magnet does not matter here, right?
So I
like
think we
it's
do boop
only
him
a
on
boop
server
thing.
2.
So like we may as well boop him into server 2. He can't get in. He's going to give us the install innermost, which is nice, and then we can just put a Sadaka on HQ as a boop thing.
But I don't think we've swapped the tattoo. I like the end the run out there.
I think we do, and we just reinstall the tattoo next turn.
Okay.
Because we're going to gain money from it.
Yeah, that's true. We have to pay you credit for this, or do we not want to?
We
409's really annoying with.
May as well pay a credit for it. Okay. Because like we gained 4 on this, we spent 2 on the res, so we're still net up a credit.
Okay, so we're gonna
we boop into server 2.
Introduce you to Bran. This is our friend Bran. Bran is a Biroid. You've met Bran before. 1 click left. He's going to send it back. Oh no, he's not clicking.
No clicks left. Of course. You have to click the Bran.
I don't know.
There.
I think there you don't. I think there you let the Bran fire and you run HQ, because I think he wins by running HQ. I don't think he wins on the remote server.
Probably, but like you get 1 access on HQ there. If you have a legwork, you don't click the Bran. If you don't have the legwork, you.
So he threw.
Yep, there's the second sneak door. Good call on that.
Yeah, we're gonna lose to that eventually. Okay, so things we have to do. We have to get ice on HQ. We have to hit this once.
Cool.
And then we Hansei an agenda. Yeah, such a good draw.
That just perfect.
Which one? I think bacterial's
doesn't matter.
No,
they're equivalent.
I think bacterial's better into legwork.
Yeah, let's good call. Let's trash that. Tattoo Bola on HQ and click cold site server.
So he dies at the end of this turn unless he can do something really cool.
Next turn.
Next turn.
We can show the tattoo there. I guess we don't need to. We've got plenty of money.
Well, now he has to be scared of Anemone, right?
Yeah.
Get behind Brown, league reference. Is there, I still want to let those swap for Pinel? We've seen 2 Pinels so far, so we're not sure exactly. The art on Brown's fantastic. It is really good. Braun and both on sale, I believe, have the same artist. It's very, very good art. I want Braun on and play that. All right. Drawing 1, looking at 2. Could be one more Pinel. Could be
2 agendas and 13 cards in R&D.
Yeah.
Which feels pretty good. Legwork sucks here, but we do draw up with the bacterial, and that feels like a pretty reasonable chance of not losing the game. Like obviously legwork is a chance of just ending the game here, but legwork we probably boop into the Bran and then be like, yeah, deal with it, depending on what click it happens on.
I think if he legworks, we just draw 7, and then the chance of us losing is pretty low.
I think if we draw 7, there's a chance. It's tough, right? We need to worry about the chance of milling out before the end of the game.
Yeah. Hey, Maddie. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna open this door because I'm hogging all the air conditioning. That's better for my partner. All right, they're thinking this through.
So this is a sort of interesting spot because the ag is ahead, but it's tense and it could be behind very quickly, which is interesting because a lot of the games are either it usually ends up by this point being much more one-sided. It's very rare to be this tense all the way through.
Yeah,
I think with the ag, there's just so many ways to just have sudden mid plays.
I still anemone right here, but we don't have it, so we just res the barrier.
It's Sadaka innermost.
Yeah,
they have 1 click left. Why don't we just boop it into Bran here, and
if we res the tattoo bola, it just ends the run though.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Let's res a tattoo bola.
No, but you're right. It might tax out on the Bran, but I think he just lets the Bran fire and then just goes back. Yeah, this is the ice that he could have guessed, but I think he just had to send it.
This is a play you make because if you don't play it, you have to discard the legwork at your end of your turn anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And Anemone kills there, so yeah, this is Ooh. Okay, well the legwork's gone.
Why don't we just click cold site 3 times?
3 times?
I don't think it needs to be 3 times.
Do we want to draw once? It can't get worse than this.
Yeah, draw once, click it twice. There's just here we're feeling pretty good. maybe click it once, install Anansi on the remote.
I think that's fair. Or do we want to rather have 2 cards that we can throw out without it being a problem for Anoetic? I'm not saying the remote's good, because if he inside jobs, he loses. He dies.
Yeah, I think just put Anansi on the remote and just kills him most of the time if he runs it. And you still can't deal with Tattoo Bola on HQ. And like,
there's a way he wins.
Now we have a boop thing if there's an inside job. Like, there's very few outs for CTZ here.
He needs to like draw Kurapira. He's running Spin Doctor. We should shuffle it.
Yeah, we should shuffle 2 back. Now there will be 5 and 11.
Yep, and he can send it through the Vampire Nasa.
4. Wait, okay, hold on. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 out, so there will be 3 agendas and 11 cards.
Do we do both agendas? I think he might call us on archives if we don't. What's the archives?
I think we do both agendas here. We have a boop, so like it's hard to like get enough accesses on R&D to win.
Yeah.
Right?
And if he hits a bacterial first, it's basically sealed.
Yeah.
As much as there's only one. All right, he's going.
What's the outermost on our? Oh, Anemone. Just kill him. Just kill him. Please just kill him.
We'll kill him with Keeling, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the one that you can't play around. And this is exactly what you're saying. It's like you don't die to Keeling, you die to the results of Keeling.
Yep. So that's the Keeling game plan.
Yeah.
That was a 14-turn, 64-minute game.
14 turns,
some of that. And Jane.
14 turns is not long. Yo, that was a great game. Great game. Yeah, you played the lines really well.
That was super clean.
Yeah. We have 9 points in hand. Yeah, if they had a Fractor down, like that game is totally different. But I think CTZ doesn't play mutual favor. Yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah, they know we're flooded. Of course we are. The show is given. Hey, thank you. Hey, cheers. Thanks, y'all.
Oh, we play another one?
Yeah, of course. Buena suerte. Man, JNet's running really well. Yo, Jenny, how's it going? Oh my god, Izzy, let's go. By the way, when CTZ played Embezzle, he basically called your hand was planning on calling Asset. Whoa. I'm surprised by that.
That's what I was expecting him to call there. It's like you're trying to get rid of another Keeling there. You're trying to like call that we push the Rashida there, that we have the Keeling for next turn, but not quite the resource, and you just don't want us to push the Keeling.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I was like, at the time I said Ice, and I think Ice makes, Ice is important in that matchup. Kind of like Mati back in the day. All right, we're against Steer. You called your hand for most of the game.
Oh, we're really playing against good players tonight. This is fun.
Yeah, we got it. We got a game. We got a lot of work to do. Okay, I like this hand. We're playing against Hosh. We're gonna see like, big card hand Hosh. How do we feel about big Hosh? I haven't seen big Hosh.
61 Hosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends a lot on which 61 cards we see, huh?
Yeah. So things that they want to draw into early. Hippo. I think you can like just YOLO with what's it called, with Benhar, because you die to Anansi more often than not.
Yeah.
But this hand is pretty good. Like I think we can ice up HQ. We can tattoo Rashida push 61 cards.
Yeah, I don't
know how.
I think turn 1 is going to be like tattoo in front of a Rashida and then just put the Anansi on HQ and not plan to res it immediately. It's honestly like it's 50-50. Like having Anansi on R&D can be nice just because of the R&D reordering, making it extra safe.
Yeah.
But like we're expecting, I think, not to get a lot of Anansi fires this game. So like just having it be taxing being on HQ is probably the more relevant spot most of the game.
Cool. I believe it. Do we have to play around? I don't know if you play around DJ Fenris this early, obviously, but yeah, cool. Oh, do you know how nice it is not paying a credit? I feel like we take it the training way.
So good. Of course, by the time we get Keeling up, we're like, damn, imagine if D wasn't drawing a card every turn.
Going through like 50 free cards. Daiji says, gotta say it here, also watching both streams at the same time is really enjoyable. It should be repeated if possible. That's really cool feedback. Glad you liked it. I'm so excited to see the other side. Early liberated, we're going R&D for flip. Accessing with 0 credits. I don't know what the last click is there. Whether
they
you
can't
want to hit
steal
this
the
first.
Ipawa here.
Yeah, right? But like you can't even trash Rashida. Like, why do you not hit this first? So that you have 4?
I think there are very few things that you want to actually trash out of R&D here. Like you would trash Rashidas and maybe Spin Doctors, and everything else is just too expensive. Well, okay, but like
you trash Regolith.
We don't have Regolith.
Well, they might not know that. Like you would trash your Anoetic. That was on the top.
Yeah, I think probably a mistake there. I wonder if they were like wanting a click left to draw up if they hit a Fuji or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
Okay. We have
cool. We can protect R&D. We can push another Keeling, and we can put another ice on the Keeling remote.
Okay. So
Or sorry, push another Rashida.
yeah.
I'm calling it the Keeling remote because it will be the Keeling remote.
Vampy and R&D. Or do you
Yeah,
want
Vampy and
another? Do
R&D
you
is
want a
great.
Nancy for R&D protection, or do you want that for the remote?
Um, let's put the Anansi on R&D. Let's put the Vampy on server 1 because if it's firing, it's going to give us anoetic food
Cool.
every turn.
I like it. And Anansi works well with R&D.
Yeah.
I promise you, Diaz is less memorized.
And we have the anoetic void, so like next turn we can go. If we get a Keeling, we can go anoetic void, Keeling, and then have Vampy on top and be like, yeah, you're just going to have to spend ridiculous resources to make us not actually do that much. Basically, make us mill 2 of our choice.
Yeah. Yeah. D can be aggressive here on 7, right? Like, D knows we're not on Saisantan, so the face check, the worst case is Vampy, and puts us down to 2 credits. Like, we don't want to do that. So, again, after Rashida, you're assuming there's one agenda in HQ. I don't know if you just sent it here, but you do want to at least keep, yeah, Hoshan. That's good. You sent it now if you play that. What's the team name? I don't know. Oh, is she trying to be Max? Elwin. The big Hoshiko is like super in vogue for a long time now. For at least like before the rotation. Okay, so we don't res the Vampy.
Well, we just res the Tattoo Bola in here. Yeah.
Tattoo's really good. It's a good card. We're going to get a hit off HQ there for sure.
Oh, yeah, but we were anyways. Like,
yeah, we're going to stabilize after this, Rashida. Okay.
Like, I think the only hit we really don't want to see is the Void. Like, having a Void early is nice. Losing the Spin Doctor would kind of suck.
We lost the Bola.
Oh, we lost the Tattoo Bola. That is, like, the least bad hit there. I think, like, I would have rather lose the Simulation Reset, probably.
Yep.
But...
Okay. So, we can afford, probably with this hand, to get off the Hansei. We do not have... What's it called? Do we start the Spin Doctor just to try and find a Keeling?
Yeah, because like if we shovel back 2 Rashidas, I'm not too sad about that. And
cool. And if we draw an agenda here, we can Hansei it on tempo. Okay, nothing but ice. Okay, so centrals are Anansi expensive, Vampy expensive. So we definitely have to Hansei here. Do you want to Hansei the second cold site?
I would probably yeah, or the Vampire Nasa that we're not gonna res.
Okay. I would consider
there's a chance even as a Simulation Reset. The 3 I would be picking between would be Cold Sight, Vampy, and Sim Reset. And I think I lean towards the Vampire Nasa that we're not going to be resing soon since we do have enough other ice.
Okay. So
and then I might put a Cold Sight in server 1 just now. It's like it's bait if nothing happens, and then like because we want it's more important to have a Cold Sight installed on the board before you push the Anoetic. The other thing I might play is just put a Tattoo Bola on HQ.
Yeah, I like that.
Because we can res that.
Yeah.
The Anansi face check is like a thing there. It's now protected from Hippo if like that's a line that we're worried about. And like this just gives us some options for ending the run on HQ, which could be nice to just keep us safe from Maw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this Anoetic gets a way worse if Maw is like firing consistently because it's hard for us to keep a clean hand. I think they have to pressure the Spin Doctor just because if Maw is your strategy, you can't let this stand as much as you want to stay flipped. Through it,
what do we Maw?
Stargate?
Buzzsaw, Stargate, Price.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. We'll take this. Otherwise they
I think just 2 Rashida back.
Us. Yeah. Would Rashida be still playable if it was 1 credit, 1 card less? Seriously asking? I think there's a chance, yeah. I don't think it'd be everywhere. Feed an Anansi?
We are on 12 credits.
Yeah.
We can... I think yes here.
This will slow down
but
their
it's
aggression.
Tough. Like this is... So this will eat...
The way I see it, like...
almost their entire grip.
Anansi is expensive, but this res will almost guarantee that we draw into Econ next turn.
Yeah, because we're going to get the fire. So like this gives us whatever we need and protects the top.
Okay. All right. So, Fuji, Bacterial, Rashida, Fuji. So 9 points of
Hold on. If we put the Fuji on top, do we win? If they don't check out.
Depends on steals. Steel skins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to draw Rashida into our hand, I take it?
Yeah, we'll want to draw the Rashida.
So we'll just bottom the Bacterial.
Bottom the Bacterial. So it's going to be 5 cards, assuming they paid a draw.
Yeah.
4 or less, so they would die to Fuji if they access it. They're going to not access, I think, here.
Wait, this does 4
Um,
damage, so they'd be on 1. Yeah, so we can put a Fuji on top. Do we want a Fuji on top, though?
I think it doesn't
So we probably
matter that
simulation reset,
much.
because we don't want to draw any of this.
Yeah, we don't want to draw any of this, so we're going to sim reset hard.
Yeah.
So let's put the Fuji on top.
Well, we'll put
Rashida on top, draw Rashida.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And then draw Rashida.
Cool.
And now it's Fuji on top.
They had a steel skin. Wait, no, it hasn't happened yet. Sorry. They have no steel skin. They have a steel skin. Damn it.
Okay, so they do get the steel skin.
So they're going to get
the Fuji, but that's like fine.
This was a risk that I don't think we should have taken, because I think D is probably not going to die. Like, I don't think D would have taken the access.
Yeah, probably not.
So I think we took a risk for no reason, as cool as it would have been.
Yeah, no, definitely true. Like,
we got another steel skin?
Is that all the steel skins out?
2.
No, 1 more.
Yeah, 1 more. So they lost a hippo, though. That's good.
But, like, I kind of feel like it's okay to have a Fuji out of the game here. Like, we can push a Rashida. We can sim reset away the rest.
Yeah. Okay. So, our plan is jam Rashida. We need to make sure we can res ice on HQ so we don't get moth. That's totally fine. Do we start with the sim reset? Cool.
Yeah, so, what do we trash here? Like, definitely a Nancy and 1 cold sight and subliminal.
Yeah.
God, not seeing any econ off the top other than a subliminal is pretty. Well, I guess the Rashida counts.
Okay, so let's.
So I think it's gonna be
4.
I think we're far enough away from cold sight here that we can probably get rid of both cold sights and shuffle them back.
Okay, so we'll do 1. This is running better already. 2, 3, 4. Do we want to do the 5th one? The second cold sight? We can keep a cold sight. I think draw 4 is.
No, let's keep a cold sight.
Yeah, okay.
Let's keep a cold sight.
Choose 4 targets. Okay, so we'll do cold sight and a Weddick.
Yeah, cold sight, void, and probably Hansei and an ice.
Yeah, okay, I'll do an Anansi.
Probably the Anansi.
Yeah. Okay, lots of ice.
Cool. Install Rashida Ice Archives, I think.
I'm just gonna do a magnet.
Yeah. We'll eventually want to get a Bran on the remote.
Yeah, sure.
Like, ideally, they'll run through the Tatibola and we'll get it down that way on some run where we don't mind them getting in.
Mm-hmm.
We will find out.
Piloting ag gives me so much anxiety. It's not that bad. I'm like very happy that Izzy can be here so that we can, have that sort of expertise. But it's as long as you understand how to evaluate your priorities, which like for old ag glacier play, this is definitely very different. I think it's something that anybody can tackle. That's the last steel skin. It got hit off the price.
Yeah. And
bans, daily cast, steel skin, and raindrops. So they got the cast down.
Yeah. Seems good.
39 more cards, 5 in hand. Puemo, she's here. Botulus on the Anansi. We don't have a way to
Cool.
purge.
We have a magnet on archives. Let's.
Okay. So we really want a Keeling here.
Like Keeling here would be great.
Like most turns.
Okay, so we're in an okay spot. Let's see this draw.
No. Money. Just money. Do we ever push the agenda?
Honestly, there's a chance we might here. I think we need the money first, so we might push next turn. So I think it's going to be subliminal, hedge, and then
another ice for R&D.
Let's put an uniced on R&D. Like, these decks are probably on 1 or 2 finality. I think I like the anemone on R&D.
Sure.
Like, again, just having anemone on the board means you can sometimes just kill them.
Yeah. 1 more hedge here?
Hedge fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, next turn we could push out probably. I think if this is all we have next turn, we just score.
Yeah, no reason to not, I think, at that point. Like, it's awkward, but it's fine.
AgInfusion trigger, I want less decisions, not more decisions. But you only trigger the AgInfusion once per turn, and it's like generally pretty obvious. It's like, does this inherently lose me the game, or does this inherently like take down the Keeling? Otherwise, you don't use your ability as much as possible.
Yeah, like there's a flow chart, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it doof? Is it pinhole? Is it bad?
Okay, so either we can feed them another Anansi here. They would draw 3 cards though after it, and they would access, or we could just give them a card and we get a Tattoo Bola rezzed.
I think we res the Tattoo Bola. There's like
I don't want to give them more cards.
they're gonna draw from the host if they get an access.
Yep.
So like a card from Raindrops is equivalent to that.
And very obviously, like, I don't think they have exact breakers. They threw a Buzzsaw, but like they're digging for Noom, if not what's it called? Carmen, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you more scared when you're playing this against Carmen or Noom? They're about the same, right?
They are fairly similar. Like it's pretty similar numbers. I think Noom is maybe a little bit better.
I think you save a credit on the Nancy.
Carmen is 5 for Nancy, Noom is 6.
It's only 5?
But you save a credit on the install if you can't make a successful run. You can't always make a successful run, so being able to get the num down a little bit easier is nice.
I haven't internalized the numbers on Carmen. It's 2 strength, right? And then it's 2 for 2?
2 for +3, and then 1 for 1 to break.
2 for 3. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Is Carmen slander? Carmen's fine for Nancy? Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's not bad. I thought it was a bit worse.
No, Carmen breaks a Nancy better.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, Drafter. Drafter for 4 feels so bad.
Welcome to Shaper.
Okay, what happened there? Oh, we just emptied the Liberated?
Oh, we got a Keeling.
Cool. Let's install a Keeling, install a Cold Sight.
Do we need to get the brand in front or no?
Let's see. It's Anansi Tattoo Bola, and they can't break the Anansi yet.
It's, I think, Vampiranasa Tattoo Bola.
Vampiranasa. Yeah, I think I like Bran Keeling, click for a credit, and then next turn we can install and click the Cold Sight server.
Yeah, because I don't think we have to, like, they might not run this, so, like, if we do the Cold Sight, we're kind of telegraphing a bit much.
Right, and we're also going down to a 1 and 3 instead of a 1 and 4 on agendas in hand if they, like, find a way in, and, like, there's just not, like, a lot of reason to get it on the board right here.
We're assuming D's on Pinhole. We've seen very little influence, let alone 61 cards. We saw 1 Pinhole already, so never mind.
Yeah.
4-0? Yo, Steven. Hey, Andre. Hey, Izzy. Great to meet you, Ken. It's Steven, I've met you before. What are you talking about? Izzy. Steven says hi.
Hey, Steven.
It's why you do the Bridgman and have an Ice Carver? I believe in Ice Carver. I think Ice Carver is a bit better than it looks. I think there's some nice breakpoints, and it's like, I don't know, looking for a job old school. Only 11 credits? It's not a lot of money. It's definitely not a lot of money, and right now, like, the Sanansi and R&D is pretty free. Cleaver's down, so Tattoo Bola, HQ run here could make sense. We're going here. So we have a Bran, well, they have 2 clicks left. It drops us to 5.
So Bran is 8 credits for them to get through, which means they have 5, which means they have 4, which means they exactly can break it. So I think we res the Bran, and then if they go through it, we boop them into somewhere. Archives. And like, because we don't want to actually res that Vampiranasa. It's too expensive. Waiting on the fire, I think.
Yeah. I think they realized, like...
So Bran is a wild piece of ice, y'all.
It's good. It's absurdly good. No one deals with it well.
Like, I think even, like, if D gets in here and we go install advance on the... Well, like, we can't afford to actually score a second message.
Yeah, we really can't.
So...
Walked into the grammatical. Turbine Propeller can break it twice efficiently. We'll need to do think. Hey, do it up. Yeah, okay. So this is a lot. You can click through 2 of the subroutines. That gives us an ice. That's really bad because then we get a free boop. You don't do that. So then you boost, break. So yeah. Did you say 8? It's 8, right? Yeah, it's 8. Good. Then with 5 credits, we're not threatening anything really here. If it was a magnet, that would be a hard end to run, but like we kind of want this fire all. Okay. I wonder if D's just going to send it.
Well, we have ice in archives.
Yeah, just do the Vampy.
Maybe
the Tattoo Bola is better because it has utility.
I think the Tattoo Bola, it's a cheaper res if we have like a 1 credit differential. Like we're never resing a Vampiranasa. We put on the road. There's a chance we've res the Tattoo Bola. And the swap then might be valuable to get an anemone on the inside.
No break, only swap. I thought D was going to send it HQ here, but the R&D run's pretty good. We can res an anemone.
I think we just let him in.
Yeah,
No, we just let them in.
So we're
They can spend all their Anansi counters. There's 5 in 27. There's 1 in 5. So there's like normal agenda odds here.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna get pulled apart by the mob, but like there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, but like a 1 maw trigger every 3 turns.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Can't feel that bad about it. If it hits an ice, then it's just making our brand more powerful. Like,
you think
and if they ever run archives, like if they hit an agenda and they run archives, we get to pull the Bacillus off the.
We lost our cold sight. Bummer.
Yeah, a little bit, but.
Do you think they draw last click if they
also
think this is Keeling? I guess they still need to go through their deck.
I guess we find out. They probably have stuff to discard here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you play around discarding. Oh, price? Trash Dreamnet, Buzzsaw, Maw, and Buzzsaw. So it's a Buzzsaw. And that's a flip. Well, okay. So we'll res the Keeling to go down to 2?
Yeah, I think we have to. And then like it's gonna be
stormed on HQ.
Yeah, but like
a tattoo helps.
So we get the tattoo trigger, we get money. Cool, credit. Yeah.
Hey Eric, how's it going? Look, it's Izzy. How many wins are we?
Hey, we are. This is our second game. We won the first one against CTZ.
Yeah, we went undefeated, but we took it as an hour to get through 14 turns. But like CTZ streamed the other side of it, so it was like a really good match.
Jnet was struggling.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's better than it was. You missed an incredible game against CTZ. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, Maw was a reason to put cold sight, but like, if we do that, like losing the cold sight, like, are they realistically challenging the remote right here?
No.
Yeah, we res the magnet just to get the Botulus off R&D, I think. I think that's worth.
That's definitely worth.
Here.
Otherwise we can boop into the, what's it called? But yeah, fixing the Anansi is so important.
No, fix the Anansi.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's worth 3 credits here. Like, they still have...
Mine.
Like, they're going to go through, but there's nothing in there.
No, it's just... Hoshin.
It does open us up to pinhole. They've got 1 click left, but we have another Keeling if that's the case. Like we can go Keeling credit. Like we're tight on money, but like we're not actually looking to spend that money for anything except for resin Keeling at this point.
So next turn we over-install an archive, so we just trash this.
Yeah. There's absolutely no value to that magnet. It breaks for a credit. Oh, fire.
Yeah, they might pinhole here. I don't think they want to pay a credit for the leech. Yeah, it's a pinhole.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's 2 pinholes down.
But we have the next Keeling, and this is a 6 credit play.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fine.
A 6 credit play that cost their whole turn and got rid of their value on R&D. Like, it cost us a turn, but like it cost them a turn too.
Okay, so install Keeling, trash this, install Bran on it, credit.
Yeah, credit, and then we can res the Keeling, go down to 0. It's fine.
Yeah.
I doubt there's any more pinholes left in the deck. I think it's hard to get 3 in for the influence.
I think there's a chance we're going to lose on HQ this turn.
Yep.
If we drew a bacterial here, this would be better because we could fix our hand. But like, yeah, now if they just storm HQ, which I think on 3 credits they do. Yeah, I think we actually might be in a bad spot. We might have wanted just to draw twice here.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, this is definitely like a tough spot, but
yeah.
Also like. Well, they have to worry still about Anansi into Fuji.
Yes. Also, like we'll be on 7, so we could res potentially. We're not resing this, of course. We don't boop.
They can go into archives. I don't.
It's good value for them.
They got a leech counter.
Leech and Hosh. It's good.
Yeah. But like right now, they're still paying 4 for Bran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at some point we'll definitely purge out in this matchup. Oh, it's back. We res her?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to. Like,
unless
we're not actually spending money on anything here.
We have 2 hedge funds in the bin. Yeah, whatever. Let's res it.
Yeah, there's the 3 Hansei, but like, we want padding in our hand anyways.
Yeah. Oh, Rashida. Bummer.
But we don't...
Draw credit?
Yeah, seems fine.
Just to play around Maw too. We have an Anoetic. We can't afford it. We'll just credit.
Yeah.
No, worst turn? 3 clicks for credits? No, it's actually really good. There's a lot of decks where that's totally reasonable. Because because we are progressing the board state forward because we have Keeling. In any deck that you're not progressing the board state and you're just clicking for credits, yeah, that's the pits. But we are actually progressing towards a win state at the same time.
Like, we clicked for 3 credits. They had to spend a click to run archives, a click to reinstall the botulus, a click to pinhole, and 6 credits.
Yeah.
And then, like, they gambled for 4. So they spent their entire turn to net -2 credits to deal with our 1 threat. And then, like, we're still kind of here.
This continues to happen.
Yep, leech counter makes sense.
Yeah, a DreamNet makes us way, way, way nice. But I think we've seen 2.
Yeah, not having DreamNet makes this feel pretty good for us.
I think we've seen 1 go down. Okay, they're challenging.
Cool.
So nothing to do here.
Yep, they break it.
Yeah.
They use all their counters. And then what are the 2 ice in here? It is a
Tattoo?
Tachibola outside an anemone.
Vampy.
Vampira-Nasa. Let's boop them with the Vampira-Nasa into R&D.
Do we res this tattoo to get some money?
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Cool. Turn to Andre playing Keeling Egg. This is a new one.
This is Keeling 2.
This is 2, yeah, excuse me. Clicking for credits and trapeze, advancing the board state. Diogen, I edited your match, and I want to let you know that you have to fire clearinghouse before you mandatory draw. Now, I will say that you still won the game regardless, but you will get a scolding from the judge. We swap with the Vampy?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Only reason to res that there.
Yeah. Okay, now send it to archives.
I'm tempted to send to R&D. Like, they have to jack out before the anemone, the Anansi, or like,
oh, that's
they
better.
can only break 2.
Yeah, that's much better. You're right. Yeah, because archives, they get a free each. This, they don't get any value.
Yeah.
Go tell me a bit more about R&D. Go on an adventure. It says continue to approach. Oh, because it's on to them, right? Yep. I apologize formally. Thank you, Diogen.
Because like now they've used their ability to get through the brand cheaply for a minute. So now they need to like find the time to run archives more.
Yep.
And like if on our turn we just click for credits, there's a chance we just res the brand and be like, hey, you cannot deal with that. Like your ability to run centrals is like you give us money on HQ and you don't know what the innermost ice is.
I think here like the thing they have is they can run R&D, get a maw. That's really bad.
Yep.
Do we put Anoetic in server 1, click for 2, or just click for 3 and discard something?
Yeah, I like the upgrade click for 2.
The thing is like the upgrade's useless. It's just more about like the mental angle that it looks better than it is. Because we cannot afford
yeah,
this.
like it'll be very clear it's an Anoetic when we don't res it is the thing. And so like but we're like they can't threaten the brand this turn. I would be tempted to put a Rashida out unprotected, and like if they want to spend a click threatening it. But the maw, you're right. You're absolutely right. We get mod. Never mind. Yeah, I would just put a Anoetic click for 2.
Do we put it on R&D?
I think there's very little chance R&D is correct. I think if they want to run R&D once every 3 turns, and eventually are like, we're threatening Anemone there for the kill, I think we're like fine with that,
so
right?
We just click 3 discard, or do you want to put this in server 1? Because like I think no matter what, we don't.
We
use
may as
this.
well put it in server 1.
Okay. Well, the difference between us being on 7 and 6 is kind of important for Vampira-Nasa. Not that important. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is fine.
It's just like having it on the board means that like we're not required to spend a click in the future to do it when it suddenly becomes critical that they trash the Keeling or they lose immediately.
Yeah.
And so like it gives us like we're not going to use it now probably because it's very difficult for us to trash you and pay 2 out of hand right now. Yep. But in 2 turns, if they haven't dealt with the Keeling by then, having it means that we're in like a position where like it is much harder.
It's Anemone here. This does 3 damage.
So we just let them in here.
Don't do it. They go through.
We just let them in here. The Anemone, like we need to save the Anemone on R&D for like this kills them.
Yeah.
Levels, right?
Which
like,
we're getting there.
We're getting there.
The only bad thing here is not so much the axes, it's the maw. So ideally they like trash a, I don't know, a spin doctor or something. Maybe that's not ideal. We mod a Rashida. Okay, that's sick.
Yeah, I think that's fine. We're not pushing a Rashida here, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
little sad that we're now 3 and 4 on HQ, but like.
Okay, this goes through. Wait, do we res a Bran?
Yeah, no.
No, because then we get pinholed, right?
If we res Bran, we're really weak to pinhole. Yeah. I think pinholes are all out, but like, I think there's not enough reason to res the Bran here. We can like make that. We can postpone that decision. We're not protecting anything. We're not like getting real value out of it firing. They're like.
I agree with that.
It is just denying a leech token, and it's the third leech token that's really meaningful here.
So the question is in like 2 turns. Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna charge us here with enough counters. So like we have to send in the Vampire Nasa to send on archives, unless we want to like throw out. No, we'd have to throw out agendas. That's pretty bad. So this is ugly because now we're not gonna have ice behind this stuff.
I think we just boop into R&D again.
Yeah, but then I think they're able to take it down the following turn. Like we have nothing stopping them now because they know exactly how much it costs to run this. Well, besides the defensive upgrade. Yeah, but we definitely boot them onto R&D here.
I still think we do the boop here.
Yeah.
I think we.
So here they can jack out, mind you, because they've already approached an ice.
Yeah. And I think like we're hoping to find a spin doctor to fix our hand a little is the real thing. Like just like
we know it's not coming off the top though.
No. We do know that it is not coming off the top.
Okay, so ideally getting like an Anansi out front would be nice, but I think all our Anansis are accounted for. As much as we can afford that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Do we have to do like draw, hedge, and then just put an ice on here?
We definitely draw first.
Yeah.
And then I think we do put an ice there. Being on the outside's a little unfortunate, but I think we do
double Bran.
Draw a hedge fund.
Double Bran, that's a ruin?
Yeah, and we can afford to res it, which is just rude. Because like getting through double Bran is going to be hard, and we'll be on 8 credits.
We could be on 9 if we want to. I think we're going to lose on HQ this turn. I think D is going to pivot to HQ. Like I think D is basically just like farming HQ and then it's going to reap.
Yeah, I think so too. I think D has lines that win this game, and I think has for. Yeah. But like, Ag, we're not out yet.
Nope. So ideally, if D hits anything, we need them to hit the bacterial.
Yeah.
So Nervous Best Shortcuts in my RE deck. I haven't got to that one yet. That's the one I'm editing on.
Innermost is still Vampire Nasa on HQ?
Yeah. No, it's an Anansi, excuse me. There's the Dream Net.
Well, an Anansi res makes the Fuji very lethal as well.
Let alone hand size is a problem. No way you Anansi archives? Come find out. But even an Anemone kills.
I have Anansi archives several times in this deck, and it is often just good enough because like you just need to find.
I think you realize, we might Anemone it. Yeah. This is why we don't res.
It is. You basically can't run without 3 cards in your hand.
Yeah, you have to draw ones here.
Because any of our unres dice will just kill you, and there are very often 2 or 3 Anemone on the board because it is like not suspicious enough to keep.
Okay, so
they drew. We let them.
Yeah, we can't res
here
this.
because.
Yeah, they have 1 click left. They're getting a card and a credit, but like whatever, doesn't matter on this run.
They have to discard a lot.
Yeah, I forgot to find out. The putative decks in Jinteki did really well at Cat Ads. Or not that deck, obviously. Do you install the Dream Net? Like, there's a lot of confidence that the game's not going to be over because this is not tempo positive in the next 2 turns.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a hedge that like either the game's going to be over in the next couple of turns and it doesn't matter.
This is a good run.
Or
we swap bolas, right? So that we have a boop target.
Yeah, we swap bolas. And this is a single access with no clicks left.
Yeah, do we res the Anansi though? Because we're not weak to pinhole here.
Yeah, we res the Anansi because then they die to Fuji if they access.
Yes, and we also can pad our hand. We can draw 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care about this run. Like, this is an aggressive run because they're going to discard their hand anyway. So this is totally reasonable. And we also can fix the deck. This is a really well-timed Anansi for us. Okay, so we can make sure we have a Spin Doctor next turn.
So let's draw the
subliminal, I guess.
The subliminal.
No, Anemone. Anemone is lethal next turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
bacterial at the bottom.
they have no clicks left, so Spin Doctor would be second. So we'll do subliminal. It doesn't matter. Well, it does, because we're going to draw someone with Spin Doctor.
Yeah, we need to draw not a trashable.
Yeah, so we'll draw Anansi Anemone.
Yeah, so Anansi, Anemone, Spin Doctor, draw one, yes.
Anemone. Spin Doctor, Anansi, draw one, yeah. This goes top down.
I would have put the Anemone on top, but it's fine. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Yeah, I hear you, but yeah, I think it'll be fine here. I was not gonna hit start over. Because yeah, we're gonna draw it anyways. So they'll have information.
Yep.
Quetzal Poison Vial? I haven't played Poison Vial yet. I want to play Poison Vial. Alright, they lost one card. They lost a Mystic. It doesn't, yeah, and now they lost Banhar, Liberated.
1 in 5, they lose the game here.
1 in 5 to lose. Let's go. Send a message. Beans. We
cool. Let's res the
Don't we want the outer Bran?
Well, I'm trying to decide how we want the Bran on archives to stop. Yeah, let's res the outer Bran.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. What's the outer? Oh no, it's not.
Imagine it's an Anemone.
It's not an Anemone on HQ.
Yeah, that could have been lethal.
Which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we just do that. It's fine. That would have been a hilarious end of the game. I'm so disappointed that wasn't.
Yeah. So the idea is that if we res Anemone, it's still during the run, so it's lethal. Okay, so we just do Spin Doctor.
Install res Spin Doctor, discard cards, and
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they can realistically get through the Anansi this turn, but like...
Nope. So, draw credit?
Yeah.
And then we have Anoetic. Like, they have to win off Centrals. Oh, we knew that we were drawing into that. Draw
but it's fine, because like,
what's the next
one
card,
in hand
Fuji?
is... We should have taken notes. But... It's fine. Discard the 2 bacterial because it's really unlikely that D can survive a Fuji hit. Oh no, Fuji. Any agenda just wins here, so it literally doesn't matter.
So do we draw or we take a credit? I think the next card's a Fuji. I think we take a credit.
Yeah, we take a credit.
Oh, we could have drawn a second Fuji to hand. Maybe that was their play last turn. I'm not sure if there's a Fuji
probably.
on top. Yeah, we might have wanted to pull another Fuji. How's it going, Vishal? Gotta see.
No, Keeling? It was just the bacterials we saw. We didn't see another Fuji in the deck.
It was Subliminal, Spin Doctor, Anansi, Anemone, Bacterial.
Anemone, Anansi, Bacterial.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so in terms of cards in hand, we have a Tattoo on HQ. HQ you can't run. R&D is Anemone, that's lethal. Brand's on archives. Keeling kills next turn?
Yes, next turn.
Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet. They definitely run server 3 here.
Yeah, probably.
Because the only lines like flesh out the Anoetic and then like maybe run HQ.
Yep. I mean, it's tough here, I think, for the runner to find the right lines to win, even though they exist.
Yeah.
It's like you need a Hail Mary and agenda off of R&D next turn by forcing the Spin Doctor to put 2 back in so that there's 3 in R&D, 3 in 15, 1 in 5 to win.
Yeah. And next turn, like we just
break it, and then like I think we just purge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like if they do that, we just purge.
It's weird that we haven't seen a fermenter so far in any game.
I think fermenter stonks are down because of so much virus, and like you really want to get 4 counters on your fermenter to make it worth it. And if it's just being incidentally purged 3 times in a game, then you spend a click and a credit and got very little value from it. I think it's tough right now to play fermenter if you're expecting as much virus as we've been seeing, which is good. I think that we finally found a way to balance it, except like
it's going to
maybe
like
every corp playing Stream of Virus is not great, but you know.
Okay, archives run. You can't res, can't boop. Well, we could boop them into the Bran. That's not particularly great.
No, we just let them in. We shuffle 2 back.
Just shuffle, yeah. They're gonna get DreamNet and they're gonna get
a leech counter, but it's still super expensive to run both Brans.
No matter what. So we put the cards
we just purge
that don't lose us the game.
That sounds like a great plan.
Is Quetzal with Poison Vial taking too much to face Bran though? Hard to say. Depends on your meta, right? Like if you go to an event and there isn't a lot of bronze there, yeah, you're gonna look a bit silly. You deal with an envelopment, okay, I guess. But
I
like,
say this with much love, but saying Quetzal with anything is teching for a specific thing might be a stretch.
the ability is reasonable, right? Like, there's a lot of
It's also a lot
cheap
of fun. It's just not super
barriers.
well positioned in the meta right
Yeah.
now.
Well, it's like you're playing that, and the downside is you're not drawing 15 free cards a game, right? Like, that's kind of a
That's
big
exactly
downside.
it.
Again, the videos that I'm editing through, because I put pop-ups for everything, like I can tell you after every game like how many cards Hoshiko's drawn in a game, and it's almost always more than 7. 7 free card draws good. Lat, by the way. Oh my god, Lat seems really good.
I still feel bad for the Camnats game against Lat, where they asked if they could Lat draw, expecting me to res a Spin Doctor, and I res the Keeling instead and said, no, discard, please.
Yeah, there's so many fun ways to mess with Lat right at the last click. Or after click.
Yeah.
Quetzal's a sleeper good DJ Fender's pick outside of Anarch, though. In Criminal, like, yeah, Croupier is not amazing. You have a weak spot there. The thing is, like, there's not a lot of really big barriers that with a single subroutine. It's like Quetzal to Bran. Whatever. Hey, Monty, how's it going?
This was a really tight game. This is like...
We're not out of it yet.
Whoa. This is an interesting run. Hold on. If we res the Anemone here...
Yeah.
Then they have to jack out because they die.
And we have to res the Anemone here.
But if we do that, are we risking... What are we risking next? Well, they still don't have a killer. Okay,
so, like,
yeah, I think we just...
If we res this next turn, we just have to put Anemone on R&D. And then we click for 2 credits, right?
Yeah, because like we can literally just trash all of the ice we have on a place and put an Anemone there, and it is now locked off, basically.
But
so
why don't we let this run go through?
Okay.
It's like the only thing we lose to is Maw 1 and 5 because we're not losing to the Access. We lose to the Maw. That's the problem. Because 1 and 5 we lose to Maw here.
1 and 5 we lose to the Access too. There's 3 agendas and 17 cards.
Oh, so true.
I think we res the Anemone here, pitch that, and then be like, you can't deal with the Anansi as well. You die, and so
I'll trash the Subliminal.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we hit a Banhar and a Twinning. We'll fire the sub. They have to jack out here, or the game's over. Can you tell D that's their turn to pick and Snake Trap? Yeah, it's a really close game, Sanjay. They can't go through this.
Like, they could be going out in style, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on 2 credits. Okay.
Cool.
So they lost a Mad Dash. Doesn't matter. So they, at the end of their next turn, they lose. So they...
Yeah, so, okay, so we could just purge here.
Yeah.
We could overinstall something with an Anemone that, like, makes it really hard.
So, like, if we trash all this ice here and just put the Anemone there and click for 2 credits, right? Like, D could top deck a Pinhole, lol, that'd be wild, could happen. Or it could just, like, draw, run through the Anemone and get a single axis.
Yeah.
If we purge, they can't do
purging's better.
Yeah, I think purging's better.
And we still have 2 credits to fire an Anoetic once.
Yep. Yeah, it's a huge...
And we can boop on HQ into an Anemone for 1 damage, which makes them have to, like, spend a click to draw before they can challenge HQ at all.
They draw 3 times.
This feels hard for the runner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still possible. But they have to somehow send it through
we can lose here. There are lines we lose here, but like, it feels hard for them.
You need an Airblades run R&D. Like, that's the line. I don't think we're going to see it. Okay, Archives, don't do anything. We don't send them into the Anemone, do we? It's honestly somewhat reasonable.
No, I can't imagine we do.
Because we have to protect HQ more than anything.
We have to protect HQ.
Yeah. Chess Girl, how's it going?
And there's nothing in Archives.
Yeah. You got some love.
Like, they get a leech counter. A leech counter is nothing. Not enough to make the difference here.
Yeah.
They get the card draw, but like...
Yeah, if anything, I think they draw up and make 1 run in HQ. So having the boop off of HQ is good. And they can't run last click. Well, they shouldn't. Anoetic, they lose 2. They lose on HQ.
I mean, they can't not run last click either.
Yeah. All steel skins are out, Kyle. 1 got...
the steel skins went fast.
Yeah, 1 got priced, and then we hit 1 early, and I think they played 1 early.
Yeah.
16 cards left. Like, that's a 61 card deck, and this is not like a super late game. Like, this is turn 15, maybe turn 13. 16 cards left. That's so wild. There's no good way to deal with Bran, right? Like there's no breaker that lines up well.
Nope.
Yeah.
You have to use something like Leech.
Yeah, you need support pieces. Berserker's not a card anymore. Oh, there's a Noom. Okay, they're gonna go run R&D. This could be anyone's
Seems
game.
likely.
Yeah, could be anyone's game.
1 in 5. 1 in 3 we lose.
Yeah, 1 in 3.
Cost them a ton of money, so they can only do it once.
Yeah, and they can't do last click, so they either have to run HQ here or run R&D. I think you assume run R&D is better because we spent doctored a bit ago. This is the second. Yeah. Oh, in terms of numbers, I don't know. I think we refreshed some, but this is the second Keeling on the table at least.
This is the second Keeling push. I think one got trashed from HQ turn 1.
No, wasn't that that was a CTZ got a Keeling on turn 1 inside job?
Oh,
it's pretty wild.
This happens. I confuse the games.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Ag.
It all blends together. Just watching this number slowly tick up. Yeah, we didn't talk about this too much, right? Like, do you ban Keeling? Do you ban Ag? I'm more on the ban Keeling, if anything. I don't think it's a card people enjoy playing against. Okay, hold on. We're in.
Yeah, here it is.
Okay, so this is 8 credits for the run. We can interact with this in any way. Fire all. Okay, so it's cheaper.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not playing that card.
Could have played Bio Bands there, I reckon. No, you don't have enough money.
It doesn't get you anything, right? Like
unless
you can draw
you need
2 cards
to tank Anansi. Because it is click compression to draw cards.
Okay, chance we lose here.
Chance we lose. We've worked so hard. All right, only 4 credits. Okay, so they don't have a run here. Let's go. Let's see what happens here. So how many do we have in the deck?
3.
3? Okay.
4? I've lost track now.
Nothing. Boom. Oh, Maw didn't hit it either. Okay.
Maw didn't hit it either.
So it's run archives here. You can run HQ and tank.
Well, if they run archives, we just boop them if we have it, and we just boop them into the. Oh no, they can break the anemone.
They can break it. Yeah.
It's their last click. It doesn't matter. Do it because it's funny.
Yeah. Oh no, we can't boop it back onto R&D. Oh.
Why not?
I'm just gonna throw him to Bran because Bran's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, Bran's just like cool.
Yeah. Meet Bran. You haven't met Bran yet.
Yeah, Bran's cool. Imagine there's an agenda in archives. How bad you feel about this weird boop. There's nothing in archives. Fire all. Okay. Nice. Let's go get another brand. Get all 3 together.
Yes, all 3 brands.
This is what a perfect board states look like. Flatlined. GG. Thanks for the game. Well played. Like really well played.
Archives.
40 minutes.
I just ripped a pin off of my purse.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I just need to bend the safety pin bit back.
That's 13 turns. 45 minutes is mostly because JNet's slow, but we're talking through everything. But like, that is not a 45-minute game. Even the way that we played this game, this is safe for single-sided Swiss, give or take.
Yeah, I only went to time once during Can Nats, and it was playing Runner.
Oh, wow. I think I got lucky with the killer in 20 draws, but I think it was a slightly bad luck. Yeah, no killer is definitely rough. You had the pinholes when you needed them. Are you on 2 or 3? Should trash the Keeling from R&D, I guess. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's really hard to trash from R&D, though. For it's 4 credits. For like...
they're on 3. Pinhole. The first... I think I played against Deer, and Deer says they're always on 3 pinhole. We were talking about the first turn. You ran R&D and then hit lib. Any reason why that order? Like, do you want to run back? Because yeah, if they trash the first Keeling off hitting the lib in that order, it's a totally different game.
Yeah. As far as bans go, like, Keeling is the one that should go if there's a ban. Yeah. There's a decent chance that there should be a ban. I think, like, As much as like I personally like playing this deck, and
Yeah.
as much as I think that there is probably a runner that can be found that is like even or better into it, once you've done that, it's like you have to like it's probably not good for the meta if there is one corp deck that is so strongly above it has only one good runner matchup into it, because that pushes everything else that's interesting out of the runner meta, right?
Yeah.
So like even if there is a counter found for intercontinentals, like I think it's probable that the right choice um that Keeling is right. Yeah, Elwin. Keeling, if you have to discard at the end of your discard phase, if you have negative hand size, you lose to
Yes.
flatline.
Yeah. It's only when you fail to discard. So like you have a whole turn when you're at -1 hand size until end of turn you fail. Do you use my
And yeah, I agree with D on
yeah.
that. I think like once you're getting enough value on a run, because like Ag, especially early game, can't super afford it. Like think how much our Anansi res early cost us,
Oh
how
yeah.
hard it was for us to like stay in the game after that, and how much like that was debatable, like whether that was even right to have rezzed that Anansi. Like being able to then have like the easy like once every 3 turns just getting access on R&D, like the chances are low, but like the sum of a lot of little chances is high.
Yes. That's like the thing that I'm glad at least you can see on this side is all of the games we were sweating to some extent, right? Like we understood what was going good for us, but it wasn't like, oh, we have this locked. There's always like some line that the runner can destabilize us because we don't have infinite economy. We have infinite, not infinite AgInfusion. It's like really, really cool. How it's
Yeah,
actually a
and
bit
like
fragile.
piloting this is very much about understanding what the runner has to respect,
Yeah.
not necessarily what you actually have.
Yep. Start playing Saisentan or whatever. What could be the narrative of negative hand size? I don't even know. I think maybe my way that I look at it is that Bench and Keeling does the research, and then the runner slowly figures out that they are the hybrid themselves, and then that sort of horror sits in. Oh, I think we just got kicked. That's fine. Oof.
Well, we got to win before we got booted, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Oh.
God, it's 11:30 already.
Yep. 2 games.
Should we try to do one more?
No, at 11:30, I don't think we can. I don't think we can do that. We can maybe play a fast one. I don't know. Are you a big op fan?
Sure, let's do op.
I think I have Bath op loaded in. I just want to check real quick.
Perfect. I haven't actually piloted this list yet because I've just been playing Ag in all of my like competitive grinding.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Excuse me, Jaina, it's loading really slowly. I think I have it loaded in, but I'm a big fan of the op decks. That's the question. Like, if I was going to play at Canats, I think I'd either play Ace or op, and then I don't know. I'd probably end up playing Koshiko. I think playing Koshiko just feels really good. Hush seems very good against this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked about what's good against this deck. Like, what do you think is the one good matchup you'd say?
I think Arizona can have a really good matchup depending on what their econ package is, because their econ package can be like, if it's too event based or if it's too install based, like run based, like it can get like to a point where there's like a dependency ordering where they need to run to get their econ, but they need their econ to run, which is rough. But like a good Arizona deck like can definitely pilot through it cleanly. I think Hoshiko, just like good Hoshiko, make a lot of money, does pretty well. Like if you look at how D was playing there, it's just like
it's close.
It came down at the end like a random access. There was something like a 1-3 or 1-4, which is like not the odds that you super want to be coming down to at the end of a game if your deck is going to be like, busted good, right?
Yeah. It's weird too. It's like, so some of the weird cards that like, I don't honestly know if you have the time to set it up, but like into some of the Hyper Glacier, and this is not exactly Hyper Glacier, but the idea is that like cards that generate accesses that are not attached to runs, I think are kind of powerful. Like twinning is something that is really difficult for
twinning
for the deck to interact.
Yeah, twinning, like that is why Sadaka was in the list, was specifically to trash twinning. Because like, if D had found a twinning there, like we would just have lost because D would have just pressured HQ until we couldn't keep them out, and then they would have accessed 3 cards and seen 2 agendas.
Yeah, for those who don't know, twinning, you'd only commit to using any of the resources off of it to see extra cards as soon as you hit the breach step. So it's not this, it's like, oh, this could be a Maker's Eye at any point in time, so you don't know how to intelligently use your AgInfusion ability, which is really, really hard.
And the symbiote, Reglat is bad into Keeling Ag, because once the healing is res, the Lat card draw gets completely turned off.
Yeah, it's really
and then you're like, congrats, you've got a blank ID now at the time when you actually need to have clickless card draw in order to be able to handle the anemones, to be able to handle the Anansis, to be able to handle everything that's going on at the same time as you're probably still trying to get set up to challenge this first Keeling.
Yeah, it's so goofy, all the weird situations you find in that like your ability is turned off. I do want to see, and we saw one, I think at least one player playing like an Arsana type list, like lily pad type prognosticule list in a lat instead of Arsana, and I kind of want to play that deck more. That deck seems really good.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that one more. I think like Shaper in general though, like there's definitely places where like if you get the ag to commit too much resources in one place or to go too low on credits and you just like drop a conduit.
Yeah.
Like as Shaper, like the ag can end up in a really bad spot there. So like against Shaper, the ag needs to be very cognizant of the like the R&D pressure can just materialize out of nowhere.
I was just asking about Essa. I think the ag deck is probably a bit weak to any sort of destabilizing sabotage, but it's going to be really hard to land like Chastushkas and Finalities if they're playing grounded, and that deck does not play Pinhole.
You just rip off the top of R&D and trust the fact that your density's low.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it sucks if you lose Keelings, but like it's like they're at the bottom of the deck. And if they don't find Ghost Tongue early, or sorry, if they don't find Marrow early, then their hand size goes low very fast. And if they think you're just like Ag Glacier, they don't know you're Ag Keeling, and they go to low hand size and you're as a Keeling, you can have a 3-turn clock out of nowhere, which can be rough against a deck that struggles to keep breakers in hand. Like the Essa's, like I don't know if there's a version of Essa that's like really strong into the Keeling ag, especially because like your best tools are going to be like Banhar, which is like, hey, it's an Anansi, or like if you're like not finding your Marrow, it's hard. Like, but if you get like an early Marrow down and you don't take more core damage, you've got 7 cards in hand and you have like a more a less aggressive Essa, I think that could be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm wondering what like the midpoint Essa is, because the only Essas we've seen are like hyper aggro, because like the breaker suite is really hard to make functional. Mini J-How. This is Dano. Smartware turn 1. This is a 53 card Alice. I'm worried about Disruption. Disruption's really good into op, but like we're just gonna get
this should be interesting.
Yeah, this feels okay. All right, they hit the Smartware. Okay, we get Rashid off. Okay, so we want to go fast. I don't think we have a moment here to score at the hostel. I think we want to, well, we'll see.
I think it's probably install the...
We need to ice up both centrals. Like, we need to ice up Archives R&D. So I think we push
hostel. We can like install Azaf and then 2
I don't think we want to score this.
Like, we're not... Yeah.
It doesn't really do much. Right, like I want to score this.
I don't know. I'm not a good op player, so I'm going to listen to you on this one.
So I want to score this, and then we can push the Aziaf, because this will solve our economy issues. And then we're going to get the run on R&D, and I think we can just make Archives annoying enough to run with the Tithe.
Yeah, because we get to choose what to trash for Alice.
Yeah, then we just throw out him a virus or whatever we keep in our hand here. Oh, we can also Audacity, but if they don't trash the Spin Doctor here, I think we throw them a virus. Wait, it's very, very good in this deck because you can get Tucana instant speed. So next turn we could even install them a virus, crack it for a Tucana.
Regolith in...
Yeah, I think that's the worst one by a mile.
We're going to get 7 credits presumably this turn. Like, I don't think we've got an Extract.
Yep. We know how much you're an advocate for Smartware. Criminal Economy, let's go. Flip switch, okay. They hit the Extract. Sleep with Hoshiko for tournaments, free draw along the max. Yeah, Hoshiko's in a really good spot. Do you think that Hoshiko's going to be addressed by any sort of ban list?
I don't know. Like right now, I think it doesn't need it as of like the last couple metas. Like Hoshiko's been good, but it's also been like performing kind of on par with other runners. We see a pretty diverse runner field. We've been seeing a lot of Arasana. We've been seeing some Lat. We haven't been seeing a lot of other Anarchs, but we've seen a little bit of Freedom. And like we're seeing some Sable, some 419, and the top cuts have been really diverse. So like the Hoshikos have been winning in the end, but I don't know that they are like so overwhelmingly stronger than the field that it's like justifying it. But also we're still seeing those Hoshiko decks changing a lot. and like there's big unsolved questions in the meta still about breaker suite. Like we're seeing
Yes.
people still debating about what the right breaker suite is, and it's like there's a real possibility that like just because Hoshiko is so much value that like once like the questions about like big versus small, what the breaker suite is, what the right econ package is, Gashapon versus price, these things, like it could get to a point where like Hosh is just too much collected value and needs a ban, but like we're like the furthest we've been from that in a while, which is to
Yeah.
stay still pretty close to it.
Yeah, no, we're still pretty close. I think the numbers support it. Oh, that's an Abasu, cool. I think the big thing is like I think the more ambitious decks that have like different just straight like value packages that are like very simple to play in Hoshiko, or like, you know, what you expect to play in Hoshiko. I think those decks, the unexplored decks that are like more close to like Virus, Hive Mind, Max, that sort of stuff. I don't think we've broken that yet, but I don't think there's been a good reason to break it.
Yeah. And like no, there's not any one card that you can ban from Hoshiko. You have to ban the ID if you want
Yeah.
that other Anarchs to see play. And I think banning the ID and leaving the other like value package is probably fine. Like the main busted econ cards in Anarch are the sum of all of the companions plus Fermenter plus Liberated plus you start importing things, and without Hoshiko to like draw you through that with the amount of virus that we're seeing, like if you're starting to talk about like something like Freedom and the corp is really valuing like value purges, like is that a meta where Fermenter is going to stay super good? And at that point, like are you getting enough value from the companions and Freedom to make it like it's interesting for the other Anarch IDs as to like what your econ package ends up being.
Sure, the otter eats a ban sometime before Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Paladin's like a reasonable candidate for a ban, but I think if you ban Paladin, like Hoshiko just plays a different companion in the slot.
Yes. But at least hopefully it's a bit more interesting. For what it's worth, like I think Paladin now the breaker suites are no longer the bin breakers. Like it feels a bit more fair, if you want to say that.
Yes.
Strike Fun, gain 2. At least like I mean when she
that was a cute play. I want to call out that play.
That's
for
really
cool. I
cool.
like it when you like pitching strike funds to things.
All right. So we have to score this one out. We have to pay the cost before we get the effect. So we can trash the, for what's worth, the envelopment is still pretty good. But otherwise we can trash Vovo to get a zero coster. The problem is like the zero coster will have to be in a new server. So I don't think we have a huge incentive to score really quickly. We have like a Stavka as much as it just hits an Abasu. But with bad pub, I still think we have to ice out the magnet here. So we might go.
Stavka's not going to hit a whole lot of anything with a flip switch on the table.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, they have the tech for it. So the question is, what do we trash with the SEF? We have to like downgrade ice. We probably just trash the envelopment and get a board control. Yeah.
Do we trash the spin doctor? Okay, I'm trying to figure out if there's a line where we can like use the spin doctor effectively, trash Vovo, go get a new spin doctor.
We could.
Like all our ice is res. We've got like all our value out of Vovo. We may as well trash the Vovo. And then like our zero costers are what, just spin and Rashida. So like if we spin a couple things back and go get another spin, it's like we're using our spins a little fast, but like
if we do that,
we're in a pretty good spot here.
We should Audacity this then, because like these cards are not great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with that. So let's do.
And then we can spin an Audacity back in.
Yeah, exactly. We'll Audacity.
And have a click user draw.
Yeah. Okay. So then we'll remove this from the game. We'll shovel it back in an Audacity and Rashida. Yeah. We'll score this. Oh, wait, we were meant to trash the spin doc. Oh, no, we're trashing Bobo, excuse me. Ban Hoshiko for variety.
Right, because spin doctor would only get us a -1 coster, which I don't think we have any of.
Actually, that's something that I haven't learned. Like shuffling with Rashida, if they see the top of your deck, is like totally good. And I never value that enough playing on JNet. It's all zero cost from your deck. Yes. Spin. Has to go to a new remote. Ooh, that's a draw. So Tucana for, we'll do the damage first. Okay, we hit a steel skin. Oh man, that's great. So we'll just put in a border control on server 2 for 1 credit. Or sorry, 2 credits.
Oh, do we want to put it on HQ since they can...
I think we just jam.
Yeah, yeah, and we can install one of them, and it's fine if they still on, because we're and if they get to 4 points, we don't care. We're just going to draw another agenda and score it.
Yep. Yeah, here top thinking the one of Audacity is good. We have Slash and Burn as well. Oh, that's a Scrubber. Yeah, I don't think we'd let them trash this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like if we get another spin doctor, we can shuffle it back. Like I would be tempted to, even if it's free. But
I'll do extract and Rashida because they have two other
yeah,
virus. We're not in a rush. They would wraparound this an easy magnet trash, but I don't think we're on that. Yeah, wraparound's like a good 2-coster for the deck. I don't know if I like it better than the white space. Yep, influence issues here. Okay, so we can just score this and then like tempo forward off of the Tucana and then just jam this. So I think we can score this and just
I
get
kind of
some.
want to get a counter on it because if
I
they don't steal the
do.
Atlas in our hand, then the counter on it just wins us the game next, the turn after next.
So we can do advance credit. It's like super safe. We can draw once, advance.
Yeah, like we're not spending any money.
No.
So
Oh, great.
beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know how they contest this because they have to get through the border control. That tech line of like letting them break the envelopment and then firing it before the subroutines resolve. Why did nobody think about this? Do you know what I mean? Jeff was talking
Sorry,
about
what
this.
do you mean?
Okay, so say the remote server. Hold on, oh, we have to throw out something. That's fine. Say the remote server is border control into envelopment. So most people break all the subroutines on the envelopment besides trash this ice. And then after they do that paidability window, then you border control.
Oh, because then
Yeah, right?
that I
Like,
hadn't thought of
this. Why did we?
that's wild.
Why did nobody think about this?
Well, like, do you want to trash the border control, or do you want let your envelopment turn into another 4-coster?
You trash the border control because then they still have to break the envelopment if they come back.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how many counters are on your envelopment.
Yeah, it definitely is dependent on board state. But like in the early game, if they go through like a 4-sub envelopment, like that's sick. That's so good.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we just do advance jam, and then we can pull the hostile or the what's it called, the audacity.
Audacity.
Yeah. Is there anything?
And they can steal one.
Is there anything that we can afford? We can just get a white space on HQ.
Yeah, we pay 3 less with Tucana, so
yeah,
we may as well put that there. It makes it just hard for them to.
They say oof. Yeah, Tucana. It's perverse if you don't challenge it. It just absolutely snowballs so quickly.
Anyways, this is op.
Yeah,
this is what I expected. This is
the anti-AgInfusion. As much as like the other AgInfusion games we ended by turn 13, it's only going to be turn 8 maybe. So it's not that big of a difference. Yeah, Alex.
Think about how much thinking we did about every ice res in Ag, and here it's just like, yeah, they're just all res and we're fine.
Okay, but you say that, but a lot of people have the same sort of like intrepidation when they look at op as they do with AgInfusion. And some of that is just
okay, but like op is like, because op is like one of those ideas that's so generic about what you put in it that like there are ops that are awful to try to work out the lines for.
I don't think I've
some of the combo lines where you're like figuring out, okay, I need to gain this many clicks, which means I need to trash this on the runner's turn so that I can get a bass on the board, so that I can still use my op ability on my turn, so that I can do this to get that, so that I can mad into this and have this many clicks left. And that's a thinky space to be. And then there's like the rush op where you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get as much value as I can out of my ID and not think too hard about it.
Yep.
Which is like a place I like being.
Yeah, just make anything something slightly smaller while making money. I want to see Tucana in like HB. I think there's something really cool.
Hijacked router? I didn't think that was still legal.
Oh, you know, it's still good. It's right
they just accidentally clicked on it. It's just really funny that
they installed it. Funny enough, if they did that on archives, they just it actually buys us a turn. That's okay. Jada makes op a lot easier than it's in person. Oh, for sure. Having the list. Nice. All right, we don't even have to pull the audacity. All right, there you go.
Neat.
The op is good too.
Op is good too.
Yeah, that's a fast one. That's 12 minutes, 8 turns. GG.
A whole lot less thinking
than
the Ag was.
A bit less thinking. Yeah, we have to decide what to trash. I'm going to trash the smartware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, I can't because
how much did smartware pay them that game? Like 6 credits?
6 credits for 3 clicks. It's honestly not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not the worst. As weird as that is. You have the gen installed so you could credit advanced audacity. Oh yeah, no, for sure. That was the line. Is if we ever had less credits, we would do credit advanced audacity if we needed to. Corp meta corp. Jada also makes op. I read that. Excuse me. Smartware too strong. Gotta trash it. I think we DC'd. catch you around.
Well, if we were gonna DC, now is a good time to do
Yeah.
it.
Cool. Izzy, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, man.
I'll
Pleasure.
take this chance to remind people that Queering the Message has a podcast, Queering the Message.net. Go check us out. The next episode should be out sometime this week. Um, and
What's the next
yeah,
episode about?
thanks so much for being on. So happy to show off the ag. I think we showed pretty well how even like really good runner play struggles pretty hard into it. That like
Yeah.
even with all the work those runners were doing to think about like there were outs, but they were slim margins.
It was close. It was close though. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the point. Like everyone's still sweating it and it's still very, very difficult. Cool. Well, that's all on my side. We won't have another national for maybe a year, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm working on some videos of the CanNets gameplay. They're going way faster than I thought they would, which is actually really impressive. They might be out as soon as next week, maybe, which like that's pretty cool. I thought that'd take me longer. And otherwise, we'll be back on Tuesday streaming as we normally do in the afternoons now. I think that's all. Izzy, you did shout outs. Thanks again for joining me. Absolute pleasure to have you on. Go through some AgInfusion. Intercontinentals, that was the last thing we didn't say, right?
Yeah.
Intercontinentals is this weekend. There's no post on this on Null Signal Games, which is a bit strange, but if you want to watch it, it starts at like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, East Coast time. And it has the 12 players. I'm not sure if all 12 can make it, but the 12 players, this is invitational only. This will be streamed on twitch.tv/Null Signal Netrunner. So yeah, local time to, that's whatever local time is when this event was made, probably somewhere not here. But that's exciting. That's this weekend, and it's always like a wild format with like lives, and it's a very special format because it's always kind of more like a show match, which is pretty cool.
I'm super excited to watch this.
Yeah, me too. I'll be watching it early in the morning. I think that's it. I think that's all the news. So take care, y'all. Oh, actually, I want to shout this out real quick. Sorry. These pins. Did you see these?
Yeah. Oh God. Keistra's new pins are so good. I'm budgeting for them for Worlds already.
I'm budgeting for this. We blew through the news section, but these came out. So Kat Chen is putting these. I believe they're gonna be enamel tokens. I don't know if they're pins. I think they're for like playing, right? And so
yeah, then they're pins except without the stabby bit because
Exactly.
you don't actually want to stick them into the card. You just want to rest them on top.
And like, so the idea that you have a Banhart token makes a lot of sense, but also the idea you see a couple players, you know, every once in a while you mess this up where like you have too many things installed on the opponent's side that you go over MU. So it's actually a really nice thing to keep the programs in your program pool and then just mark the things with counters, which are really gorgeous. So these will be at Worlds, it seems like. And also there's a shout out from the Null Signal Games website. Sorry, I don't have the link here, but if you have alt arts that you're looking to sell at Worlds, even if I think maybe if you're not at Worlds, they're selling up some sort of art station. So get involved there. Check out Null Signal Games. There's a whole page posting about getting stuff from artists, so that's amazing. These are amazing. These are really, really nice. Again, Kat Chen stuff. Shout out to Kat, who we worked with for the alt art for CanNets, and I believe confidently that's it. Izzy, thanks again for joining. See you all later.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. Night, everyone.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.